From Fort Scott, Kansas, on the campus of Fort Scott High School inside Fort Scott Gymnasium, home of the Fort Scott Tigers. Good evening, Grizzly Nation. We thank you for joining us on KLKC Sports YouTube or 106.7 KLKC Parsons. I'm Jack Leake alongside Isabel Redford. Isabel, it is the first road test inside the SEK for both of our Grizzly squads here this evening. We are going to be on the road for some time, Isabel, but we're going to take it a game by game. How are you feeling tonight?
So far, the drive up here wasn't too bad, so I think for our first road game, we did pretty well, and so I'm excited to see how the Grizzlies perform tonight.
As the Lady Grizzlies are coming off of a game against Chanute, in which they were able to bottle up the Blue Comets and get a big SEK win to put them up at a 2-1 record inside the league, which a winning record inside the conference is always a good thing, as they were able to put away the Lady Blue Comets by a dozen points, a score of 42-30. And prior to that, they beat Parsons, the Vikings at home, 57-46. And prior to that, on that Tuesday night back in December, they lost to Independence 38-22, giving them that 2-1 record inside the SEK. But we're going to dive a little bit into that matchup against Chanute, Isabel, as you know, the Lady Blue Comets have struggled this season, but they did fight very hard in that second half, but Labette County was able to counter those punches that they did throw. Kaiten O'Brien, big time, 21 points, and the second leading scorer was Shelby Wilson with just 6, but Labette County did put it on Chanute just about all four quarters, scoring 12 points in the first quarter, 11, and then 8 to win 42-30, holding Chanute's leading score to just 11 points. It was Tyra Bogle, and Jalen Smith had 9, and their point guard, the main target of the scouting report, Peyton Shields, held to 6. Few players to look out for your Lady Grizzlies. Kaiten O'Brien, as I mentioned, scored 21 points and just continues to get that average a little bit higher, as it now sits just a couple ticks over 15 points a game. As Isabel, we talked about in our Things We Know, Things We Don't segment in our pregame show last game, I don't even remember, it all runs together, on Tuesday night, how other players are going to have to fill that box score with Kaiten. Can you beat some teams like Chanute with just Kaiten? Yes, but tonight we're going to need her average and then 3 or 4 other girls to double or triple their average.
Yeah, that's definitely something that we had talked about, and something that I think even Coach Bolmer's mentioned a few times in the post-game interviews, is just going, okay, who's going to step up, who's going to, fill that void. And while it's great, and when you can have nights that Kaiten can shoot those, shoot you out of the gym and have those great nights, you are going to have to be able to put up some points and rely on some other girls, especially on those nights where her average is lower. And so it's just kind of still that question we have to ask every night until we kind of start seeing that of who's it going to be. We definitely have facilitators. We have girls that can run the floor. We have girls that are playmakers, that they want to make stuff happen. But a lot of times they don't end up shooting, or they'll pass it one more time, and it would be nice to see them put up some points for themselves. Absolutely. As we'll have our opponent preview later, Isabel will bring that to you. But just to kind of give you a preview of what Isabel's going to say, Fort Scott's really good. Yeah. So Labette County's going to have their hands full tonight, certainly. And in case you missed it in our interview with Coach Vollmer, which is now going to start taking place at halftime of our boys contest, we invite you to listen into Coach Vollmer, have her post-game, but at halftime of the boys game, she mentioned Landry O'Brien got her pin taken out of her wrist, so hopefully that Burlington tournament finish line for her recovery is still intact. So we will be getting back Landry, who still is the team's second leading scorer, even though she's been out since the home game against Collegiate. So someone else has to step up, and I know you talked about it, Isabel, but someone who I want to talk about is Ridley Lynn Cherney. Yeah. She has shown flashes of how she can be really dominant inside the paint, and she's going to have to stretch the floor and make these players of the Lady Tigers respect her. If Lynn Cherney has 12 or 14 tonight, let alone 16, if she can get 4 buckets in each quarter or 4 in each half, giving her 8 each half at 16 total,
I would like where the final score might end up. But Ridley's going to have to play well tonight.
Yeah, she's definitely somebody that comes to mind, when I mention, who can step up and who can be there, because she's definitely an aggressive ball player. She has a really high basketball IQ. She's smart with her feet. She's smart with her movements. And so, yeah, she's definitely somebody that I hope can fill the box score, and it'd be nice to see her do that tonight.
This is your Tank Connection pregame show of Labette County basketball. 9.5 minutes until tip. We are going to step aside for a 30-second timeout and come back with tonight's edition of Things We Know and Things We Don't about this Lady Grizzly basketball squad.
Everybody is different. Some get injured, while others simply wear down. Whether it's on the court, on the field, or at the gym, Labette Health's orthopedic and sports medicine team has the training and skill to repair, restore, and renew. We share the same goal, and together we'll write your comeback story. For more information about Southeast Kansas' leading orthopedic and sports medicine team, go to LavetteHealth.com.
Welcome back to the Tank Connection pregame show of Labette County Grizzly basketball as we welcome you in to tonight's version of Things We Know and Things We Don't Know quite yet of this Lady Grizzly squad, and something that we do know, and this will come a little bit momentarily, or my explanation will be explained when Isabel goes over the Lady Tigers, but they're a little bit level higher competition than what we've seen potentially since that opening game at Bonner Springs when the Lady Grizzlies fell at Bonner to the Lady Braves 56-45. Now, that's an 11-point loss, but let me tell you, they have a couple athletes that wouldn't surprise me if they go to some level of collegiate basketball. Mariah Noel is unbelievable. She had 30-some points on our Lady Grizzlies, but that was a high-paced game. Granted, we had Landry O'Brien healthy, first game of the year, obviously. But Bonner is a little bit level higher than what we've seen since that opening game back on December 2nd up by Kansas City. Labette County played awesome. I still look at that as one of the better games that they've played. Coach Vollmer was very pleased in our post-game interview with her after that game against Bonner. And so my point is, completing the circle, FortScott is in that tier, or at least I think, based off of what I've seen, with Bonner Springs. So the thing we know is that we can hang with that company. So I wouldn't put it in the books that Labette County is going to lose tonight on the road against, I believe, a top 5 Lady Tigers squad. Undefeated they are. So I wouldn't put it past these Lady Grizzlies to at least hang around and have a chance late. And something that we don't know quite yet is that points in the paint. Not just Ridley in the paint, but just points in the paint. It can be Caton, it can be Shelby, it can be Addison driving baseline. We're going to have to get that number up. We shot a lot of threes against Chanute, which is fine. That's kind of how you have to play them. But that's how they defended us, I mean. But tonight, points in the paint would be nice to have. We're going to have to hit down shots because you know FortScott will. We'll hear about that momentarily in our opponent preview. But points in the paint, man, it'd be nice to get 20, 25, 30 of those here this evening. 6:15 until tip. That was Things We Know and Things We Don't of this Lady Grizzly basketball team. And when we come back here in 60 seconds, Isabel Redford will have our opponent preview of tonight's contest.
My name is Bria and I'm a pharmacist at Bowen Pharmacy. I'm here today to tell you about one of our patient programs, Meds to Beds. Bowen Pharmacy South is located in the medical office building at Labette Health. Our staff works closely with the doctors, nurses, and social care workers to ensure that your transition out of the hospital is an easier and more convenient experience for you and your loved ones. If you are having inpatient or outpatient surgery, we will get your medications directly from your doctor and deliver them right to your hospital bed. If you are having a baby, we will get your medications or anything else that you may need to get your family home without the hassle of making several stops along the way. Whether you're here for a few hours or a few days, we are here at Bowen Pharmacy and Bowen Pharmacy South to help get you well without any interruption in transition of care. Just ask for Meds to Beds. At Bowen Pharmacy and Bowen Pharmacy South, we are here for you today and we are here for you tomorrow.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's opponent preview. And thank you guys for listening into our pregame show for tonight's matchup of the Lady Grizzlies versus the Lady Tigers of Fort Scott. And looking at the Fort Scott Tigers, they are currently sitting at 6-0. They are undefeated on the season. They won the Paola Invitational that they participate in to kind of open up the season, and then they are also 2-0 in SEK play, beating Parsons and Chanute. They have got a lot of returners this year, a lot of names that I recognized from last year and years previous, and one of those being Keegan Yarrick, probably their number one player that the Lady Grizzlies need to watch out for tonight. She is extremely good. Just in all aspects of the floor. She scored double figures in every game that she has played this year, except for Chanute, which they held her to 6. But still, she is one of the more impressive players that we're going to see tonight, as well as some other players like Allie Brown, Jesse Comstock, just a lot of names that you hear and you kind of go, oh man, those are good, those are good. And so they play very aggressive. The ball never sticks. There's constant movement. They play a very aggressive offense. Coach Steps actually won SEK Coach of the Year last year, as he had an incredible performance with these ladies last year. But they are also just, again, very controlled team. They're very well. I'd like to just say they're kind of a unit. They just move as one. They're very aggressive. And definitely going to be something that is going to be interesting for our Lady Grizzlies, as we kind of have a little bit less. We lost a lot of players. We've kind of have a younger team. We're kind of rebuilding, kind of growing together in experience, figuring out what that looks like. So these Lady Tigers are definitely going to be kind of a punch in the face to us, or they're going to be looking to kind of make that punch first. And as Jack mentioned earlier, you know, they are on that level of Bonner Springs. They're very good. Some of these girls will probably play at the collegiate level or play somewhere higher up in their basketball career when they leave Fort Scott. So these Grizzlies definitely have their work cut out for them. However, I think the way that they have been playing, and if they can kind of answer the question of, well, where are the points going to come from, I think we can see a very interesting ball game. In that regard, kind of our keys to the game here of what I think they're going to be able to do in order to kind of stay in that range of kind of being able to stay with Fort Scott and have a chance at winning this ball game is they're going to have to shut down Yarrick and Brown. I mean, that's just something that I know Coach Vollmer has mentioned in the scouting preview is just, you know, those two girls are going to shoot, they're going to score, and they're going to score a lot. And so these Lady Grizzlies are going to have to defend. They're going to have to face up. I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Vollmer runs man and puts one of the better defenders on her, on Yarrick, just so that they have someone in her face at all times, and maybe even at times double teaming her. I mean, she's just going to be one of those people that you have to shut down or you will not have a chance in the ball game. Also, I think that they just need to stay in the game mentally. I mean, when you prepare for a game like this, when you look at film, when you talk about it and you go, oh man, these girls are 6-0, they haven't lost, they're really good, they've got a lot of players, your mind starts to wander and going, oh, well, and you kind of count yourself out before the game's even started. And so it's definitely going to have to be something that these ladies do, is just keep themselves in the game mentally and go, you know what, it doesn't matter. They haven't scored any points thus far, and the game hasn't started yet. You know, like, we have to make the first punch. We have to, keep control of this game. And kind of like I mentioned earlier, scoring has to be high tonight. All of our girls need to be on. They need to be ready to score, run a good transition offense. I'd love to see them run that pretty well, because when they do that, things tend to go our way. They like to run the pace, run the momentum, and they have to be in the driver's seat tonight. So those are kind of three things that I think that the Lady Grizzlies are just going to have to capitalize on to be able to stay in this game. Do I think they can win? Yes, they've definitely got a chance. It's not going to be an easy battle, but it's definitely going to be an exciting one to watch.
This Lady Tiger squad 2 years ago went 8-12 last season, 17-4, and gave your Lady Grizzlies all they could handle in the sub-state championship game in Altamont. So a big-time matchup is about to take place just below us as we are elevated above the hardwood here in Fort Scott. 40 seconds and counting on the scoreboard. That's when starters will be rattled off. So we're going to take a 1-minute timeout and come back with starters for tonight's contest. This has been the Tank Connection pregame show of Grizzly basketball.
Bowen Pharmacy supports the Parsons Vikings here, and here, and here. It's our goal to keep you covered. At Bowen Pharmacy, we give no excuses for you not to make it to the game. And it's always a great day to be a Viking.
Starters being named off for the home team will start. It'll be number 3, a 5'8" senior, Jesse Comstock. Number 10, a 5'5" sophomore, Allie Brown. She's a ball player. Played as a freshman last year, a lot of varsity. She's a firecracker. Number 14, a 6-foot-tall senior. This is your post present. Hasn't scored as many points as I thought this season after seeing her last couple years, but Mackenzie Murphy can put it on you in the paint if you fall asleep. Number 15, a 5'8" senior, Ellie Smith. And number 22, the leading scorer for the Lady Tigers, a 5'8" junior, Keegan Yerrick. For your Lady Grizzlies, it'll be number 10, a 5'5" junior, Caton O'Brien. Number 24, a 5'9" senior, Shelby Wilson. Number 34, a 5'8" senior, Ridley Lynn Cherney. Number 14, a 5'4" senior, Audrey Dewey. And number 11, a 5'7" junior guard, Nevaeh Jones. Head coach for your Lady Grizzlies, Brianna Vollmer. Assistant coaches, Heather Wilson and Madison Evans. Head coach, defending SEK Coach of the Year for the Lady Tigers, Pachone Steps. Dylan Duffy and Gary Floyd II are assistant coaches under Coach Steps. Both teams in one final huddle with their head honchos. We'll be back in 30 seconds after tonight's scene setter of Lady Grizzly basketball. Broadcasting live. Meister for 3 in the lead! Yes! From the studio of KLKC Parsons, Wilson launches another 3, and it's pure for Shelby Wilson! This is Grizzly basketball on 106.7 FM KLKC Parsons. Unbelievable win! I cannot believe it! Wilson at midcourt at the red Tiger paw. She'll be jumping against the 6-foot senior Mackenzie Murphy. Ref hoists the ball above his head, tosses it a couple feet in the air, and we're underway. Murphy wins the tip in the hands of the sophomore, was impressive standout freshman last year, Allie Brown. We are underway from FortScott High School. Jack Leak with Isabel Redford. FortScott undefeated on the year. Lady Grizzlies 2-1 inside the SEK. FortScott has great spacing upon the floor, and they never stand still. Here's a cradling hook shot rejected by Wilson and saved from going out of bounds into the hands of Caton O'Brien.
And that makes Coach Vollmer very happy, as you just got to keep it one defensive stop at a time here.
Here's Dewey with it on the right side. 2-3 zone from FortScott. Lynn Cherney's going to face up Murphy and walk. Turnover, Lady Grizzlies.
Yeah, that's just an unfortunate turnover there by Lynn, as she kind of cut the ball above her head and went to cross over on Murphy, but just got a little bit ahead of herself there.
Brown with the basketball, pitches it left side to Comstock, settling in. Now she'll hurl it to the opposite wing. 2 players underneath. Here's a set play for Brown. Has it right side now against Nevaeh Jones, and a block underneath on Audrey Dewey, known to pick up 2 or 3 fouls a game, sometimes more. Gets the first on Labette County. Here's Murphy underneath off of the inbounds. Gets it to go over the head of Shelby Wilson. First bucket of the game goes to the home team.
Yeah, that's definitely something that these FortScott Lady Tigers have in Murphy, is at a height advantage. 6 foot's definitely got some inches on the Lady Grizzlies.
It sure does, and Wilson defending her. Wilson, one of the better defenders on this Grizzly team. They have a few of those, that's for sure, and one of them is wearing a brace down there next to Coach Wilson, Landry O'Brien. 6:30 to go, first quarter. 2-0 Lady Tigers. Labette County in their road blacks. Red numbers, gold trim. Here's a floater from Lynn Cherney off the back iron. No. Rebound Murphy. Lady Tigers in their home whites. Kind of a velvet red numbers and black trim. Here's a steal. Nevaeh Jones going the other way. Crosses half court. One-on-one with Brown. No foul called. Say it's a clean block. Here comes Yerrick, the leading scorer.
Yeah, as if you're Labette County, you've got to score at some point here, because you're getting all these turnovers and different things and not capitalizing on it. So just unfortunate there for the Lady Grizzlies.
Every possession will be important, especially after you force a turnover, because that won't happen a bunch on this seasoned FortScott squad. At the top of the key with it is Comstock in between midcourt and the top of the key. Now she'll give it to Yerrick on the right side. She's got Dewey on her. All Fort Scott Tigers are outside of the paint. Murphy's on the low block on the right side working on Lynn Cherney. Left side, team in white goes with the basketball. O'Brien, the defender. Underneath, Jones on Murphy. She'll shoot over her. Miss. Get her own rebound and put it up and in. Mackenzie Murphy is posing a problem with her length.
Yeah, that's definitely something that the Lady Grizzlies are going to have to address, or she's going to continue to score like that on them.
Lady Tigers are picking up Labette County almost full court, and they create a turnover. Here goes Comstock. Has it stripped. And they say it lands out of bounds. Was it Dewey or Caton on the steal?
Caton stole it, and then I believe she just kind of got the ball tripped up with herself out of bounds. So they did call it out on her.
Five minutes on the clock. They go into Murphy again on Wilson. Shoots over the head of Shelby and is fouled. They're just going to keep going to Mackenzie Murphy. Sometimes when the matchup is really good in one phase, like we might see Keegan Yerrick score 6 or 8 points tonight just because Murphy's matchup is so rich.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And why wouldn't you want to go that way?
I know it's awkward to talk when the gym is quiet. You'll get used to it. As Murphy, it does. It gets dead quiet in this gym. Murphy makes the first, has one more here. Second is too short, long rebound. O'Brien skies in for it, puts it on the floor. Here she comes, avoids the charge that Brown was trying to draw, misses the layup. Here come the Lady Tigers all the way, touching the paint as Brown already. Good bounce pass, and the layup is good. That's pretty offense as Brown high-fives Yerrick, the recipient of the gorgeous bounce pass.
Yeah, you were expecting her to go up there, but then to be able to just finish that basket so well with a pass back to her teammate, that looked really, really good.
Coach Vollmer wants a 30-second timeout. Her team trails 7-0 halfway through quarter number 1. We'll be back in 30 seconds. This is Lady Grizzly basketball.
Day & Zimmerman, one of the largest privately owned companies in the U.S. with operations across the country and internationally. We are comprised of multiple brands that put people to work, protect our freedoms, and improve the world. The Parsons, Kansas location has manufactured munitions for over 50 years for our country's warfighters. Day & Zimmerman has immediate openings for production operators starting at $18.02 an hour on our weekend crew. Work a 12-hour day shift Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and receive 40 hours of pay. We also offer competitive benefits. Apply today.
Caton O'Brien will get the basketball out of the Coach Vollmer timeout. Addison Rexwinkle in the ball game now. She replaced Audrey Dewey, and Addison will put up a 3 from the left corner. That's good. Addison Rexwinkle knocks down her team's not only the first three-pointer, but the first basket. 7-3 Fort Scott.
And that has to feel good if you're the Lady Grizzlies, as you've been playing really good defense up to this point. I mean, only 7 points. That's not terrible, but you got to get something going on offense.
Here's a little floater. Not the most touch I've ever seen on a shot, but it goes off the glass for Jessie Comstock. Full court press from the Lady Tigers. Lady Grizzlies very familiar with how a full court press works, and they break it. Here's Jones, pitches it to Lynn Cherney at about 12 feet away from the basket. Now Caton, one-on-one at the top with Comstock, settles and furthers the distance between her and her defender. Here's Wilson, left elbow. Was left open, and she'll spin and shoot about an 8-footer. That is good.
That was nice work there by Shelby, as she kind of almost did a 360. Didn't travel, but just kind of spun around her defender, made herself open to get the shot.
Man-to-man defense for the Lady Grizzlies. O'Brien gambles and misses, giving Comstock an edge, but she retreats and picks up her dribble. Here's a baseline drive and a pitch and a steal in the hands of Caton O'Brien. It's 3-on-3. She'll shoot a 3. I think it was blocked, maybe not, as it hit the front of the rim.
I think it was touched a little bit.
Fort Scott's going to return the favor in terms of ball possession. They turn it over in the full court press break. Nevaeh Jones left open for 3. You betcha! Nevaeh Jones with the 3, and Labette County's within 1 point. Good timeout from Coach Vollmer a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, she definitely does a good job of kind of loosening the team up and go. I think it was just kind of they were playing really tight, kind of scared.
Yes.
Not necessarily aggressive, and she's like, I think she might have just said, hey, go out and just shoot, see what happens. And so far it's paying off.
Shelby Wilson with a block, And here comes Labette County. 2.5 to go in the opening quarter. 9-8 Fort Scott. 2 threes for Labette, 1 from Rex Winkle, 1 from Nevaeh Jones. 2-3 zone Lady Tigers. Here's O'Brien. Ball hasn't gotten inside the three-point arc yet. Lynn Cherney flashes and catches left elbow right on the free throw line. Here's a cut from Rex Winkle, pass stolen in the hands of the senior, Ellie Smith.
Right idea by Addison and Ridley. Just, I think, a little bit of a commitment issue there as Addison didn't run as aggressively across the lane, but still, that'll be there next time.
As Labette County is just playing like they don't expect to have a lead. They're playing just a half step too slow and sluggish. Here's a near steal, but the pass is in the hands of Smith, who gets the backside layup to go. As, man, 2 Grizzlies had their paws right on that pass, but Smith was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, that was just an unfortunate mishap there for the Lady Grizzlies.
Here's Rex Winkle. She hits the deck along with Yerrick, and the foul goes on Yarick. Oh, pardon me, I thought it was Yerrick. Yarick, as I would assume that the home announcer for Fort Scott probably knows how to announce it.
Yeah.
So I would say that he is probably right. Couple substitution for the Lady Grizzlies. On the floor is Reagan Roberts, who I don't think, did we see Reagan against Chanute? I know Aubrey Boss checked in, but
yeah, I don't know if we saw very much of her.
Coach Vollmer didn't go very deep in her bench
No.
against the Blue Comets. But she's on the floor with Rex Winkle, O'Brien. Allie Martin checked in, and Nevaeh Jones stays on. Labette down 3. Here's Allie in the short corner. Turn and give to Jones. She likes to drive baseline and does. Give off Martin. Roberts at the free throw line. 1 dribble and a bounce pass in the hands of O'Brien. Skip pass. Jones chases it down in the corner, and she'll put it on the floor. Here's a running hook blocked. That's a new face from Coach Steps out of the foul as the ball's tipped out and it stays with Fort Scott. But the new face I'm referring to, I believe, is Kylie Comstock. It is Kylie Comstock, a 6-foot-tall sophomore. She has some length. Carson Wonderly, a 5'9" junior in the game as well. Set play for Yerrick. 3-pointer air ball, barely hit nylon. Rebound, Allie Martin. 50 seconds. Here comes Labette, down just 3. They've really settled in after a timeout at about 4:30 on the clock.
Yeah, they're definitely looking a lot more comfortable, so hopefully we'll see that offensive scoring production go up here.
Martin shoots an 8-foot jumper that misses everything. Rex Winkle is the lone hope for the offensive rebound, can't get it. She's trying to trap the ball handler in the corner. It is Comstock, and she keeps getting past Grizzly defenders, gets all the way to the rim and picks up her dribble and reverses it. Brown a launch, straight ahead 3, no. Rebound, Roberts tipped it into the chest of Comstock, and it's off of her chest. It'll be Labette ball.
Yeah, that was definitely an interesting exchange there, as I thought Comstock was going to go all the way to the rim, but she stopped, turned, and kicked back out.
12 seconds on the clock. It'd be nice to get a bucket here, but not vital. Here's a skip to Nevaeh underneath. No travel. Looked like she did walk. And they get it off. Here's a 3-pointer. Rex Winkle at the buzzer. It's good! Addison Rex Winkle knocks down her second 3 of the quarter to tie the game at 11 apiece. Labette County really responded at the halfway point of that first quarter. We're knotted up at 11 apiece. We're going to take a 60-second break on KLKC.
V93.5 is your home for the best variety of the 80s, 90s, and today. Get your day started with the Anna and Raven Morning Show. You're the judge during couples court. Couples share their disagreement, and then you decide who's right. Think you know pop culture trivia? It could pay off, and you score the cash jackpot when you play Can't Beat Raven. Krause in the house get you home every weekday afternoon starting at 2. Stream us anytime, anywhere at KLKCradio.com.
With many years of combined experience, Eye Care Associates of Parsons has set the framework in providing comprehensive eye health examinations for all ages and routine vision care for families throughout the 4-state area. Our optometrists and staff provide remarkable care with state-of-the-art technology to help with diagnosis and management of eye health conditions. Give us a call or visit our website to schedule your next eye exam. Eye Care Associates of Parsons. Experience modern eye care.
The 3-point line, a place that we didn't highlight in the pregame show. In fact, we highlighted the opposite.
Yes.
So you're welcome, Lady Grizzlies. The broadcast jinx has provided an 11-11 score at the end of one quarter, as we highlighted paint points and how that would be vital. But Rex Winkle's knocked down 2 threes, and Nevaeh Jones has hit one to prove me wrong. We have a tie-up on Labette County's first possession of the second quarter, and it'll go to the Lady Tigers, but no complaints from me in that first quarter, Isabel.
Yeah, they think they responded well. I mean, a lot of times teams get down 7, and that results, in a double-digit deficit or different things, and so it's been really good to see these Lady Grizzlies respond, so hopefully they can stay with it.
Yerrick knocks down a jumper from the free throw line, took a couple dribbles as she caught it left wing, ripped and ran, pulled up and scored. Yerrick with 4. Dewey in trouble in the full court press. Here they go. Lynn Cherney, 2-on-2 with her and Jones. It's stripped and a steal. Here comes Brown. Picked up by Wilson. Bounce pass to Wonderly in the corner with Wilson. Whips it inside. A firm pass. Comstock could barely handle it, but she gets it out. A deep 3 from Brown. No good, and it's going to be off of Ridley's head, out of bounds.
As that was still good effort, though, there by Ridley. That was kind of a tough positioning that she had to get around Wonderly there, but she just was a little bit off on her footing.
Here's Brown. Set play for Yerrick underneath. The floater is good. That's a tough shot and a well-designed entry play from Coach Steps to give Yerrick her 6th point.
Yeah, that was definitely a tough inbounds play to guard, as that was perfectly drawn up there for Yerrick.
Here's Caden O'Brien with the ball. Hasn't scored tonight, but it's 15-11. That's a good sign from the rest of O'Brien's teammates. She'll pull up from the short corner and have it blocked at the top by Yerrick. Keegan Yerrick stands at 5'8". Doesn't sound tall, but in some of these high school girls games, that can be when you're going up against some 5'5", 5'6" point guards. And she gets a block there on O'Brien.
Yeah, and O'Brien just kind of body checked there a little bit. That was kind of aggressive on her end.
As the ball was tipped out of bounds, FortScott will inbounds. Addison Rexwinkle checks in for Labette. She replaces Nevaeh Jones. A couple Tigers checked in as well. Jesse Comstock's on the floor. Keegan Yerrick remains in there. Ellie Smith is back in. A 3-pointer from Yerrick. She can't get hot and misses. Rebound, Caden O'Brien. Also on the floor for the Tigers. Kylie Comstock and Carson Wonderly. Here's a bad pass out of bounds. Was that O'Brien throwing it?
Yeah, she tried to throw it to Shelby Wilson, who wasn't quite far right as I think O'Brien thought she would be. So just kind of passed her to the right just a little bit.
Mackenzie Murphy checks back in. She had 5 straight points in the first half to give Fort Scott a 7-0 lead before Coach Vollmer called a timeout, and then Labette tied it up at 11. Went on an 11-4 run. Here's a kick out with a deep open 2, and it is made by Ellie Smith. 17-11. Fort Scott stretching it back out again just a little bit.
As again, if you're Labette County, you can't get frazzled here. You just need to continue to do what you've been doing this whole game.
Here's a foul on Jesse Comstock as Rexwinkle was driving with the right hand, had the ball very much exposed, and was bailed out by a foul on Comstock. O'Brien will inbound it. That's Comstock's first, the team's second. Labette just with 3 team fouls.
Yeah, it has been a fairly clean game. Not a ton of fouls called.
5:30 to go in the half. Yeah, you never know. Sometimes they do ramp up like in the second half when there's pretty much hardly any fouls called in one half.
Yeah.
It's the opposite in the other. Here's a travel on Lynn Cherney at the free throw line, that high post area where she catches the ball a lot and just traveled that time.
Yeah, she passed it quickly to Addison, who was ready to cock back a 3. But just unfortunate call there.
Kylie Comstock is bumped and fouled by Shelby Wilson. That's her second. And Nevaeh Jones immediately comes to the scores table just below Isabel and I. And Vollmer will pull Wilson. Like I mentioned, her second and the 4th on Labette as a squad. Yerrick, the inbounder, far side. Gets it into the point guard, Comstock, a senior. Yerrick, just a junior. Here's a dump inside. Not a great pass. Yerrick was looking inside for Kylie Comstock, and it's a steal. Here comes Labette County. Caden O'Brien at the top of the key, well beyond the 3-point line. Drive and dish. Rexwinkle with the flip and a block on Fort Scott. That'll be their 3rd team foul. As we've just surpassed the 5-minute mark, the clock will come to a halt, and they're going to get Jessie Comstock on the foul. That's her first, and she'll have a seat replaced by Allie Brown. As this FortScott squad is kind of like our boys team, Isabel. They're probably about true 6 players deep, maybe 7, as Jones launches a 3 and misses, but their top 6 are really good.
Yes, I would agree. They don't necessarily have the deepest bench, and when I was kind of looking at the roster, I noticed that as well. But they definitely are very, just kind of tight-knit, and that top 6 is really good.
As there's a lot of freshmen and sophomores on this varsity roster when you get past that top 6. But a nice tight rotation. A coach likes that a lot. Here's Yerrick underneath, putting up a layup, and she's fouled. She hits the deck firmly, and she's going to go search for her 7th and 8th point of the early goings of this one. 4:36 on the clock in the half. 17 FortScott, 11 Labette County. That foul goes on Rexwinkle, her first and the team's 5th. Yarrick, my apologies. I keep saying Yerrick. I sound like a Southeast Kansan. Yerrick.
That short A.
That's right. Yarrick makes the first. She'll have one more. Lead back to 7 for FortScott. Audrey Dewey checks in for Addison Rexwinkle.
As if you're Labette County, some of the fouls or different mishaps that haven't gone your way have kind of been uncharacteristic. You're not really quite moving your feet well, kind of getting a little bit lazy, or not necessarily lazy, but just kind of lackadaisical in your movement. So they just need to get back in it that way, and I think they'll see a lot more things kind of go their way.
Yarrick misses the second. Lead is 7 for FortScott. Allie Martin back in the game. 4:18 in the half. O'Brien defended at the top by Smith. Just a lot of pitch and catch beyond the arc and waiting on Ridley to get open, and then they'll puncture that zone a little bit. But for the most part, the ball is staying beyond the red arc here on the hardwood. Here's O'Brien trying to back down Smith and can't. Long possession for Labette. There they punch a hole. Lynn Cherney near the free throw line. Murphy on her. Jones gets an edge. Pulls up from 14. Misses right side. Rebound tipped around. Martin with a strong board and a foul on FortScott. But what a play by Allie Martin.
Yeah, that was very congested down there, as there was 3 Grizzlies and 3 Tigers, and she thankfully ended up with it.
Reagan Roberts checks in for Ridley, and Comstock checks in for Kylie Comstock. O'Brien will inbound. Right side of the floor. Labette's working it left to right. FortScott the other way. Here's O'Brien. Left open for 3 in the corner. No good. Rebound Yarrick. That's Keegan Yarrick. And we have a foul as she descended back to the ground on Labette County. That'll be the team's 6th and the first on Nevaeh Jones. Here comes the point guard, Allie Brown. Crossing the timeline and dishes it off to Keegan Yarrick. She'll work on Roberts, and a foul on Labette County. It'll be a 1-and-1. I think it was an off-ball foul, as it is. It's on Audrey Dewey. That's her second. Man, she just plays so hard.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard for her not to pick up 2 or 3.
Yeah, and in that case, it was just her. I think they called her running into the screen a little too aggressively, which I'm sure she might have seen it last minute out of her peripheral, but she had, no idea that screen was coming, and just body checked her real good.
It is Smith at the line. She makes the first free throw and will get another. She has 5 points on the evening. 4 different scores for FortScott. No bench points yet for either team. Smith makes them both. She's up to 6, and the lead is up to 9 for FortScott. 3.5 to go in the half. Labette County scoreless in the second quarter. That cannot stay true for the next 3:20 if they want a chance, Isabel.
Yeah, they definitely need to get that offensive scoring production back up, as they've kind of gone cold here in the second quarter.
Here's Reagan Roberts with the basketball on the left side. Gives it off to Nevaeh. She's met by the 6-foot-tall Murphy and has to kick it back out. It's Martin down low, working hard. She's on the right block. The ball's on the opposite wing, left side. Past the 3-minute mark now here in FortScott. They get it into Martin, working on Murphy, loses it out of bounds. Turnover Labette County. They're walking on thin ice.
Yeah, as you don't want to let the lead progress any more than it has. And they are working hard down there, but they just need to convert that into points, because that's what's going to win them this ball game.
FortScott coaching staff wants the ball to go to the right side of the floor, so a set play coming in after the dead ball. We'll see what it holds. Brown gets it back, a potential busted play, and they'll spread the floor. Here's a screen set, top of the key. 3-pointers hoisted and missed. It was Comstock on the shot, and in the hands of Jones goes the rebound. Nevaeh dishes, Rexwinkle right side. She has 2 3-pointers, and what a pass inside. Roberts misses the lay-in, but the pass from Shelby Wilson was the best of the evening from Labette County. Keegan Yerrick left open for 3, misses it deep, and it's in the hands of O'Brien. Here she comes, wasting no time. It's 1-on-3. She'll Euro and is fouled, and will shoot 2 free throws. As it was 1-on-3, she had Murphy right behind her. I mean right behind her. And then 2 white jerseys in front of her, and she still just kept going.
Yeah, it was interesting. The further she got on the court, the more interested I was in trying to see what she was going to do, because she just continued to go despite having 3 Tigers on her rack.
O'Brien misses the first free throw, 1 more pending. Reagan Roberts checks out of the game. She is going to be replaced by the sophomore Aubrey Boss. 5'8" stands Aubrey. Her and Wilson are on our opposing blocks for the rebound. Second is missed from Caton as well. And then she gets the steal. She'll drive, lean, and get the and one. That is how you respond, Caton O'Brien. An uncharacteristic 2 misses from the free throw line. Tracks down the rebounder in the corner, steals it from her, and gets an and one. That was huge.
You couldn't have asked for that to have been written any better. Beautiful effort there and put back by Caton O'Brien.
And then she makes this one. That is how it's done.
Yeah, I was going to say, that looked more like her characteristic free throws. She made the Lady Tigers pay on the 3-point play.
And a travel on Allie Brown. Labette County with a tinge of momentum here with 1:55 on the clock in the first half. Down just 6, and coming off of their first points moments ago in the second quarter.
As you got to continue to capitalize here, because that's a very uncharacteristic there from Allie Brown.
Here's Rexwinkle, gets her man to bite, shoots a layup and misses off the glass, too strong. Rebound Murphy, oh man, that's almost offensive. As Rexwinkle was harassing in a clean manner, and Murphy kind of gave her a little bit of an elbow to the chest.
Yeah.
Not enough to draw the whistle. Here comes Comstock with the right hand, cut off short corner on the far side. Here's Brown, right back to Comstock. They want to go to Murphy. Ball's on the deck, nearly stolen. They get it out to Yerrick, a 3-pointer from Wonderly, too strong, and hitting the deck is Wilson. And Murphy picks it up and lays it in with nobody on her as her defender hit the deck.
Yeah, as her height is definitely working to her advantage right now.
She's up to 7. Here's Nevaeh Jones with it. Labette down 8 with 60 seconds on the clock. First half.
And this is a good time to kind of leave a good taste in your mouth going into the locker room, because you want that momentum coming into the second half.
O'Brien tried to get it to Rexwinkle with a little bit of a no-look pass in the corner and threw it right out of bounds towards the water jugs on the FortScott bench. And that's a turnover. Shelby Wilson checks out, replaced by Ridley Lynn Cherney. And here comes FortScott, a big defensive stand for Labette County. You're down by 8 with 50 seconds to go, and that is going to be a block on Nevaeh Jones.
Yes, FortScott's done pretty well tonight, trying to kind of pull Labette County up a little bit, get them to not move their feet as much and draw the foul on that. So
it's a 1-and-1 for Jessie Comstock. That's Nevaeh's second foul and the team's 8th. She'll spin it back to herself, take 2 firm, low dribbles, and make the first.
Yeah, just kind of bounced off the back of the rim there to fall in for another point there for Comstock.
As Kinsley Boss checks in, so both Boss twins on the floor. Kinsley replaces Nevaeh. And here's the second from Jessie. And it's good. Labette County trying to break the full court press. And do they get a foul on FortScott? They do. It's a 1-and-1 now for Kinsley Boss. Kinsley Boss. It is a 1-1, as I mentioned, as we have a substitution. Keegan Yerrick, who got about a 6-second break there.
Yeah.
She was subbed out. I don't think I mentioned it. Now she's right back in for the final 45 seconds. She replaces Wonderly. Labette down 10. First free throw is good from Kinsley Boss. A nice-looking free throw stroke from the sophomore.
And any one of these points here coming from the free throw line is huge for these Lady Grizzlies.
Kinsley's second, too short, didn't hit rim, so FortScott will inbound underneath their own basket. And here come the Lady Tigers. 40 seconds to work. They lead Labette by 9. Just a 4-point quarter so far for Labette. That is tough to overcome when you're playing a squad like FortScott. Here's a pass intercepted by Aubrey Boss. Keegan Yerrick tried to throw it across the paint, and the sophomore made her pay. Here's a drive from O'Brien. I don't think she traveled, but he called it. I don't think it slid.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That was all the way across the court, and from my angle, Murphy was in my way, so I couldn't see. But it sure didn't look like it traveled to me.
Here comes Comstock and a block on Addison Rexwinkle. That will be 1-1 for FortScott. Comstock again made her last pair.
As that's just the second personal foul on Addison.
Oh, man, I don't think Caton traveled.
Yeah.
It might not matter that much, and it might, I don't know. But I just saw the replay. I have our YouTube live stream pulled up here to my left, and I don't think that pivot foot slid, but oh well. Here's the front end of the 1-1 from Comstock. It is good. Hit the back of the rim firmly, but fell through.
She's looked good at the line tonight. Definitely making Labette County pay with free throws.
As FortScott has shot, after this shot from Comstock, 10 free throws, and Labette has just shot 3. And she makes them both as Labette County struggled to defend FortScott in the full court. Here's Rexwinkle with the give to Ridley. Here's Caton. Gets her man to bite. She'll put up an awkward floater that goes off of the glass. Labette County's going to have to defend for another 9 seconds. 8 seconds. Here comes Comstock with the right hand. Has it stolen away. Caton O'Brien the other way with 2 seconds on the clock. Gets across half court. Oh, I thought it had a chance. It hit the backboard. But Caton O'Brien with a nice finish to that second quarter, getting her team back within single digits. They trail FortScott 26-17. They put 10 minutes on both scoreboards on both ends of the floor. So let's see. Let's take a 2-minute timeout and come back with our eye care associates of Parsons halftime show of Lady Grizzly basketball on KLKC Parsons. Hamilton's Doctors Gilmore, Newland, and Ray halftime show. And before we dive any deeper into the broadcast, we'd like to take a quick moment and thank tonight's sponsors for making our job possible to bring you Grizzly basketball. Labette Health powers tonight's broadcast of Grizzly basketball, and other sponsors include Labette Community College, Forbes Hoffman Funeral Homes, Clemens Insurance Agency, Labette Health, Woodworth Enterprises, Herman Lumber, Carson Wall Funeral Homes, Commercial Bank, Eye Care Associates of Parsons, Labette Bank, Bartlett Co-op, Labette Center for Mental Health Services, Community National Bank, Tank Connection, USD 506, The Corner Store, Day and Zimmerman, and SEK Orthopedic. Isabel, before I give everybody our stat totals of the first half, tell everybody how that first half went. The first 4 minutes was bad. It was 7-0, and then Labette tied it at 11. And then a 6-point second quarter didn't really help anything.
Yeah, definitely. You kind of thought, oh, we're tying it. We're going to stay in this game. It's not going to be, that big of a deal. But they definitely, Fort Scott's proving their worth right now. Fort Scott's definitely proving, what they're about and everything. And so that's definitely something that the Lady Grizzlies, I think, are kind of having to still adjust to and get used to. And, yeah, only having a 6-point second quarter is definitely not beneficial when you're trying to have a high-scoring night and try to compete with how deadly, the Lady Tigers are known to score. Thankfully, though, the Lady Grizzlies have done a fairly good job of still kind of containing them to somewhat of a contained, scoring range. They've only scored 26 points. They're only outscoring you by 9 right now, and so it's just one of those things where you just got to continue to keep doing what you know how to do well, and just to hopefully make up that deficit in the third quarter, because it can be done. I've seen these girls be explosive on offense. They had some good 3-pointers that kind of reignited their run, and so hopefully that's something we see in the second half here early, because I know these Lady Grizzlies are playing like they want it, and they sure are looking like it, just some shots aren't falling for them, and Fort Scott's not looking like I said, they're not on fire right now. They've missed some key shots as well, so I think the Lady Grizzlies just need to continue to capitalize on that.
Yeah, it's not like, I wouldn't say Fort Scott's defense is the reason Labette only had 6 points in the second quarter, and I wouldn't say that we are the reason why they scored 15 in the second quarter. I think that teams should generally score around that. 11 to 16. 11 to 16 is probably the average that teams should score in a quarter anyways. So if Labette County, Coach Varma would say this, if they did what they should have done, which is score 11 to 12 in the second quarter, just double digits, this would be a 3-point game. But that's kind of how it goes. We'll see if Labette County can get back in there in the third quarter. The first 4 minutes is going to tell a lot, because this 9-point lead goes to 15. That's brutal, but it goes to 4 or it goes to 5. We have a ball game. So a lot will be told quickly in the third quarter. Here are some stats of the first half here on our Eye Care Associates of Parsons halftime show. Leading scorers for Fort Scott, Mackenzie Murphy had 7, and Keegan Yarrick had 7 as well. And Jesse Comstock and Ellie Smith each had 6. So that is a good chunk of your production right there. 6, 7, 6, and 7. That's pretty healthy scoring. It's not deep, as Labette County had 5 different scores, but it is still something that you're going to want to clamp down on, because we talked about, Isabel, even though Fort Scott might not be the deepest team, it doesn't matter. No one's in foul trouble, no one's hurt, so we're going to have to go against the same 6 girls this same half. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the depth isn't going to be tested tonight of Fort Scott, unless someone gets in foul trouble.
Yeah, definitely not. These girls have played pretty clean ball. They're all looking good. They're all still, like you said, the scorings, even though they don't have a ton of different scores, the scoring's very even, and that scares me a little bit for the second half is, any one of these girls has the potential to just take that score and double it, or, continue to just increase with that. So it's something that the Lady Grizzlies are going to have to, be aware of. Know that they all can score. I feel like they've still done a fairly good job with their man-to-man defense. Shelby Wilson's really impressed me with face guarding, and I've kind of been watching her, and Ridley's done good as well. They just can't get caught on the backside. I noticed that was a few times they had some good FortScott had some good dump-in feeds over to the post, and that kind of resulted in some points for Murphy, or some different just opportunities that Labette County can kind of get caught looking on the backside. And so if they can kind of shore that up a little bit and just reduce kind of the post touches, and again, make sure you got a face in Yarrick and Brown at all times. Again, know they all can score, but know where your main people are, and I think that they'll definitely put themselves back in this ballgame.
Absolutely. His leading scorer for Labette County was Addison Rexwinkle with a pair of three-pointers in the first quarter. One of them tied it at 11. She has 6 points. Kaiten O'Brien has 5, all towards the end of that second quarter. Nevaeh Jones had 3, and Shelby Wilson had 2, and Kinsley Boss had 1. We're 2 minutes away from the beginning of the second half. We thank you for tuning in to the Eye Care Associates of Parsons halftime show of Grizzly basketball. We'll talk to you when the third quarter begins in 2 minutes on KLKC Parsons. Beginning of the third quarter is underway. FortScott has the basketball for possession number 2 of the second half, as Labette County during the commercial break had a jump ball in the hands of the Lady Tigers. Keegan Yarrick with it, has it poked away. O'Brien, she almost saved it, but they say her foot was on the line as she had her hand on the ball. It'll stay with the Fort.
Yeah, Kaiten O'Brien definitely has her moments of just getting those incredible steals or saves, so I almost thought that was one there.
Allie Brown with the ball on the right side. A 2-3 zone from Labette County now. Shelby Wilson closes out as the ball goes to the corner. Staying on the right side of the floor is the ball. Now it gets over their left side. Murphy was dominant early but has been held in check since, as Allie Brown knocks down a deep three-pointer, and that gets the lead quickly out to a dozen. And Labette County really playing with fire here right now.
Yeah, as you don't want any of those girls to get any more hot than they've been. So great shot from Allie Brown, but Labette County's definitely going to have to respond here.
A foul goes on FortScott as Audrey Dewey was looking to drive. That'll be the second on Ellie Smith and the first of the second half. Here's a set play for Kaiten O'Brien. Too deep of a three for her to think about shooting, and she'll kick it to the corner. Audrey Dewey will let one rip, and she'll hit it. Audrey Dewey, when she shoots the ball, is fantastic.
Yeah, she definitely has that position about her.
As she has good position on the defensive end and makes a steal. Labette County with it, only down 9 again. Audrey Dewey with a 3. Here's Lynn Cherney, a dump to Wilson. A short little floater is no good. Ridley with the board, and Ridley with the putback.
As this is definitely going to kind of energize Labette County here as they quickly run back to get into a press.
As that's something that kind of hurt Labette, to be completely honest with you, in the first half. They couldn't stay in front of Fort Scott.
No.
And a lot of blocks were called as a result in that full court press break. Murphy is in there deep and draws the foul on Ridley, throws her hands up like, I don't even know what to do. But Fort Scott's guards are awful good at dumping it down to Murphy and putting the ball where it's tough to get.
Yeah, and again, Murphy being 6 foot definitely has that height advantage.
Murphy's first free throw is well off the mark to the left side. A high arcing shot from the center. She'll get one more.
And thankfully that was Ridley Lynn's first personal foul of the game. So that's, thankfully we don't have to worry about anything yet.
Murphy's second is off to the same location on the rim. So 0 for 2 goes Murphy. Empty possession for Fort Scott. Labette with an opportunity to get even closer. A 2-3 zone still posed from Fort Scott. Here's O'Brien with the skip pass to Nevaeh. She's left open. She shoots and hits! Nevaeh Jones hits her second three-pointer of the ball game. This time to get Labette County within 4.
As that was a beautiful shot by Nevaeh. Went just directly through the center of the hoop there.
So Labette County has shot the ball really well from the field.
They have.
Comstock gets her man to bite, shoots an awkward floater that won't go. Rebound Nevaeh Jones. Labette County was down a dozen literally moments ago. Here's Lynn inside. She'll pitch it to O'Brien. She'll drive. No foul called in the hands of Lynn. She'll put it up and score. Ridley Lynn Cherney, right place, right time. And Labette County is within 2, forcing a Coach Steps 30-second timeout. The Lady Grizzlies have clawed from down a dozen to within 2 in just about 2 minutes of play. Not even that. We'll take 30 seconds. This is Grizzly basketball on KLKC.
With many years of combined experience, Eye Care Associates of Parsons has set the framework in providing comprehensive eye health examinations for all ages and routine vision care for families throughout the 4-state area. Our optometrists and staff provide remarkable care with state-of-the-art technology to help with diagnosis and management of eye health conditions. Give us a call or visit our website to schedule your next eye exam. Eye Care Associates of Parsons. Experience modern eye care.
Labette County, the closest they've been since I can remember in this one. 29-27 Fort Scott. Fresh out of a timeout, Ellie Smith gets one to go off the glass on the interior, and that is what good teams and good coaches do. They rally and come right back at you.
Yeah, and that's one thing Labette County has to realize. Fort Scott's not going away, so they just have to keep battling.
Caton will drive, and a push is called on Allie Brown. That'll be the second on, or I thought he said, it'll be the first on Brown and the second team. Addison Rexwinkle checks in for Audrey Dewey. Good third quarter so far from Audrey Dewey. Lynn Cherney with the basketball has 2 big buckets here in this one. Just recently, actually. She's in there working with Murphy, punch for punch. She'll kick it to Rexwinkle. Thought about a 3, kicked her right leg up, and she'll pass it. Here comes Caton O'Brien. Couple dribbles, give off. Long skip pass, Rexwinkle denies the deep 3. Nevaeh Jones, long possession for Labette. Lynn Cherney shoots a short one, misses. Nevaeh fighting for the board, fighting, and they're going to say it's off of Yarick. I honestly am not sure how I thought that was off of Nevaeh.
Yeah, I did
110%.
But he was very confident, pointing like 4 times right at 22.
He was.
He knows what he saw.
As Yarick had a really contorted look on her face and just says, what?
Yeah.
And I was partially with her in live action. I'll have to look at the replay here on our live stream here. But either way, Labette County ball down 4. 3:50 to go in the third quarter. Ooh, that might have been off of Yarick. Her right hand went in there last second. As we're going to have 3 seconds in the lane on Addison Rexwinkle. Turnover Labette County. And Fort Scott threatening to go back up 6 or 7, which has kind of been that teetering point magic number tonight.
Yeah, Lebec County just hasn't quite been able to punch through to get the lead back yet, as Fort Scott's continued to just kind of prolong their lead as well. So hopefully Lebec County can work to break that here.
Kylie Comstock back in the game, and another blocking foul on Addison Rexwinkle. And Lebec County continues to press, but man, it has racked up a lot of fouls.
Yeah.
They can't get their foot on the baseline, and so when they go to slide in front of the press breaker, they just get a blocking called on them. And there's that 7-point lead. Allie Brown knocks down a 3. Her second of the third quarter. She didn't score at all in the first half, and Lebet's down 7 just like that. Here's Wilson. A pass all the way in the corner, tracked down by Addison, and here comes Nevaeh Jones. Drives, cradles, shoots, and a foul. Are they going to say on the floor? I think she's shooting free throws. They're going to get Mackenzie Murphy, and Nevaeh Jones is going to shoot 2 free throws. That is the third on Fort Scott and the second on Murphy. Nevaeh misses the first. Audrey Dewey checks in for Lebet, and Aubrey Boss checks back in as well. Those two get Lynn Cherney and Rexwinkle. The second from Nevaeh is good.
Yeah, good effort there by Nevaeh as Coach Fulmer's continuing to encourage her girls to drive and kick, and that's exactly what they're doing. So we'll see if that can continue to convert to points here.
Allie Brown nearly loses it out of bounds, and yep, that's going to be a foul. Kaiten O'Brien put her left forearm barely on Comstock, but they'll call it. And they're still pressing, and they fouled, it seems like, a lot, just trying to defend the press break. You know what I mean? Am I the only one feeling that?
No, well, Fort Scott's not afraid to take it at them, and that's what's drawing the fouls. Is I think a lot of times teams will get scared and just kind of play back, but Fort Scott's playing into the press. And so I think that's where we're seeing a lot of the fouls called. Plus, these refs aren't afraid to call touch fouls.
Allie Brown drains a 3 and holds the pose of her shot in the air for a few seconds after it went through the rim, and it's back to 9 for Fort Scott. Brown with 3 3-pointers just in this quarter. A 3-pointer from O'Brien?
Yes.
It goes, as I just saw the ball go through and missed who shot it, but Kaiten O'Brien's up to 8 points, as it's kind of become a shootout here in Fort Scott. What a bounce pass. Murphy will lay it in underneath. Oh, she'll miss! As I look down, that ball barely, oh my goodness, Mackenzie Murphy missed a wide open layup and it rolled off the front of the rim. O'Brien's going to soar in and miss, and they got to get back before a foul's called. And here's a long pass to Comstock, underneath the rim, settles and scores.
As you can hear the excitement in this place, these Lady Tigers are just going to keep on rolling.
Nevaeh Jones responds with about a 10-foot jumper on the other end. As, man, the lid has come off for both teams. Timeout, Coach Vollmer. What a third quarter.
Yeah, this has definitely been fun to watch as both teams have scored freely, it seems. But it's just going to be a matter of who can kind of ramp up the pace here. And either that'll be Fort Scott pulling away or Lebec County making a stand here.
Nevaeh Jones is up to 9 points. We're going to step aside for a 30-second timeout and come back with the continuance of an awesome third quarter from Fort Scott.
With many years of combined experience, Eye Care Associates of Parsons has set the framework in providing comprehensive eye health examinations for all ages and routine vision care for families throughout the 4-state area. Our optometrists and staff provide remarkable care with state-of-the-art technology to help with diagnosis and management of eye health conditions. Give us a call or visit our website to schedule your next eye exam. Eye Care Associates of Parsons. Experience modern eye care.
Welcome back to Lady Grizzly basketball. As they fought back in it, Fort Scott's threatened to stretch it back out, but Lebet has stayed within arm's reach. They trail 39-33, 2 minutes to go, third quarter, out of a full Coach Vollmer timeout.
If you're Lebec County, I mean, this is a good thing because Fort Scott's, these Lady Tigers have run over a lot of their opponents. And so to be able to be within 6 here, I mean, that's a great thing.
As Lebec County forces a turnover, as I mentioned, the press was kind of hurting Lebec County just because of the amount of fouls that were being called on them.
Yeah.
but Shelby Wilson got her foot planted on the baseline and was able to cause, I think, Comstock to just go out of bounds, and she did. So Labette right back with the ball, down 6, a minute 45, 2-3 zone from Fort Scott. We've seen it about all night long. Boss with the basketball gives it to Dewey. Now to O'Brien, right wing. Good turnout here in Fort Scott. In terms of fans, that is.
I was going to say, when we first got here, there was not a soul in this gym, and now it's filled out very nicely.
Inside, Lynn Cherney holds the ball high, kicks it. Nevaeh Jones thought about a 3. She's played well. She has 9 points. Here's a kick. She'll look to score. 14-foot jumper off to the left, hit every part of the rim. Lynn Cherney had her paw on it, and it's tipped out of her hands by Kylie Comstock, and it stays with Labette. Allie Martin checks in for Boss. Labette savoring this possession. Bodies moving. O'Brien, the inbounder, throws it into Martin. She'll shoot an awkward shot off the glass. No good. Rebound pinballed in the hands of O'Brien. She'll drive baseline, shoot an awkward layup, and draw a foul. What an effort from Kaiten O'Brien. And she's going to go to the line to try to get your Grizzlies back within 4.
Yeah, as the inbound play was kind of broken up there, she kind of made her own lane there and went for the reverse layup and drew the foul. So good effort there by O'Brien.
First free throw's no good. Labette County struggled from the... They barely shot any free throws.
Yeah.
But they're probably 50%.
If that. Normally free throws, or struggling with free throws, isn't a problem for these Lady Grizzlies. But for some reason, there's a lid on the rim tonight.
3 for 6 from the free throw line, make it 3 for 7. O'Brien misses them both, but Martin with a huge rebound. Here's O'Brien with the floater, and one! What an effort in the corner on the rebound from Allie Martin. Gives it up to O'Brien and gets the floater to go, plus the foul. That's back-to-back moments where Kaiten O'Brien has missed 2 free throws in a row, somehow gets it back, this time due to a teammate, and gets an and one.
Yeah, that's definitely huge. Second chance points have saved these Lady Grizzlies tonight.
She misses a free throw, but Martin gets the rebound again. Allie Martin, unbelievable. Labette still down just 4. 45 seconds to go. If I was O'Brien, I'd miss on purpose. Here's Dewey, left wing 3, on its way, no good. Rebound out in the front to Yarick, and Dewey's going to be on her hip, and the layup is good.
Yeah, as Yarick got wide open court there and just kind of took it off to the races, as you'd expect. It's still good effort from the Lady Grizzlies.
Yarick's first bucket of this half, and underneath Wilson's fouled by Murphy, who thought she got all ball. And Shelby's going to go shoot 2 free throws.
As that's one thing for sure I've been pleased with tonight, is these refs have been very confident in their calls.
Shelby's first free throw's no good. 3 for what? Is that 9?
Yeah.
Labette County's struggled from the line for what free throws they've gotten. Shelby's second. We need it. Short. Way short.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate there because that's 3 points. But now we'll see how they come back and play defense.
Here's Yarick underneath to Smith. Yarick open in the corner, but a good closeout from Martin. A dump inside to Smith. Short passes from Fort Scott. Yarick for 3, good. They're back up 9, and it feels like we're within 3.
That's crazy. Oh, Kaiten didn't realize how much time was left.
At the end of 3, 44-35, but man, that hurts just because, oh my goodness, we were down 4 like 15 seconds ago.
It feels like it anyways. But that's again, like we've talked about, Fort Scott's not going to go away and they're going to continue to score. So we'll see what Labette County can do in the 4th.
Regardless, these Lady Grizzlies have had to earn some respect here this evening against a highly ranked and undefeated Fort Scott squad. And heck, they still have time to win it. Down 9 into the 3rd, 30-second timeout on KLKC.
Day & Zimmerman, one of the largest privately owned companies in the U.S. with operations across the country and internationally. We are comprised of multiple brands that put people to work, protect our freedoms, and improve the world. The Parsons, Kansas location has manufactured munitions for over 50 years for our country's warfighters. Day & Zimmerman has immediate openings for production operators starting at $18.02 an hour on our weekend crew. Work a 12-hour day shift Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and receive 40 hours of pay. We also offer competitive benefits. Apply today.
Labette County will start out quarter number 4 with the basketball. They have the possession arrow in their favor. Jack Leak with Isabel Redford and Lucas Hayward on the YouTube live stream. As what can Labette County do? They were down at halftime. Was it 9? They were down 9 at halftime and scored the exact same amount of points. It was a tie in that third quarter in terms of points scored, but man, did it feel like Labette County should be within 4. Wilson for 3 in the corner, short, rebound Yarrick. Here comes FortScott. As O'Brien is going to get called for a foul, as I thought she forced a travel, as she kind of swiped at the ball. Didn't look like much contact, and Yarrick traveled, but they call a foul.
Yeah, as I think it was just a little bit too much of an arm swipe that the ref would have liked from O'Brien, but I mean, sometimes that'll happen when you risk going for the ball. So still good effort though by O'Brien.
Yarrick hit a three-pointer to give the Tigers back a 9-point lead. Labette was within 4. It had to have been under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Had to have been. Here's Yarrick driving, and they're going to call a travel as Coach Steps is irate. And the ref does not acknowledge him in any way. Okay, now she does. she just kept walking.
I was like, wow, she really is just going to walk right by them.
She just kept walking. Then she talked to him.
Yeah.
Dewey will have a seat, and Addison Rexwinkle checks in. Here comes Labette County trying to break kind of the half-court press FortScott's put on them. As here's a pass that goes underneath Shelby Wilson. And they're going to call a jump ball. It'll go to FortScott as Shelby was sitting on top of the basketball.
Yeah, she kind of was confused there of like, well, what do I do in this situation?
Well, Addison took one dribble and picked it up. You either don't take a dribble at all or take 4 or 5 and move.
Yeah, Shelby wasn't quite ready for the pass, so it definitely was not her fault there.
It's a low, hard bounce pass that went about 3 feet. That's hard to catch. Underneath is a foul on Lynn Cherney. And it's going to be 2 free throws for Comstock.
And Volmer demonstrates below us that it was not a foul, but rather a travel.
A little bit of Pictionary down
there.
I know what she did over the holidays.
Yeah.
A little family fun. First free throw is good.
Actually, I think that'd be charades.
You're right. You're right. That's all I have to say about that. Comstock makes the second. Lead is to 10 for FortScott. 6:55 to go in the ball game. Rexwinkle gets her man to bite but travels. A bit of a crumble from the Lady Grizzlies in the first 60 seconds of the fourth quarter that was oh so important.
Yeah, and that is just unfortunate there because Addison had Yarrick biting really hard there, jumping up to try to block her, but just unfortunate movement of her feet there.
Ellie Smith was trapped in front of the FortScott bench, and Coach Steps bails her out with the full timeout. And we'll take that 60 seconds with them. Labette trails by 10 here on KLKC Parsons.
My name is Bria, and I'm a pharmacist at Bowen Pharmacy. I'm here today to tell you about one of our patient programs, Meds to Beds. Bowen Pharmacy South is located in the medical office building at Labette Health. Our staff works closely with the doctors, nurses, and social care workers to ensure that your transition out of the hospital is an easier and more convenient experience for you and your loved ones. If you are having inpatient or outpatient surgery, we will get your medications directly from your doctor and deliver them right to your hospital bed. If you are having a baby, we will get your medications or anything else that you may need to get your family home without the hassle of making several stops along the way. Whether you're here for a few hours or a few days, we are here at Bowen Pharmacy and Bowen Pharmacy South to help get you well without any interruption in transition of care. Just ask for Meds to Beds. At Bowen Pharmacy and Bowen Pharmacy South, we are here for you today and we are here for you tomorrow.
Quebec County having to buckle down and play some defense here, down 10. On the road at probably one of the tougher places to come win a basketball game, Fort Scott, Kansas, as it's kind of like a cage feel. Like,
yeah, it is.
If you've ever seen Hoosiers or some of those older basketball movies, those gyms that just feel kind of like you're, I don't want to call it like a prison, but it has kind of like a cage feel. You know what I mean? Okay, all right. As we have a tie-up underneath the rim, and it'll go to Labette County this time.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was about, but we'll take the possession.
6:22 to go in the game. Comstock checks in along with Ellie Smith. Or just one Tiger checked in. She replaced Wonderly. Shelby Wilson, her pass is intercepted at the half-court line. Here comes Comstock. The Oracle drive baseline, shoot a floater. Ref almost called the foul, then pulled her hand down. Here comes Nevaeh Jones. A couple big shots are going to have to fall for Labette.
Yeah, we're definitely going to need some three-pointers or some quick back-to-back twos here.
O'Brien loses the ball in between her legs. And it rolls out of bounds. As I was waiting, it was silent because the ball was just tumbling out of bounds as O'Brien waited on it to get there, and it finally did. And they say off-white, stay with black.
So Labette County looks like they're going to get a second chance here.
Rex Winkle catches. Right back to the inbounder, O'Brien. Flashing Lynn Cherney. She's got it. Holds it high above her head as normal. Wilson on the right block, and 3 seconds in the lane on Lynn Cherney. Turnover, Labette County.
Because again, that's just another kind of unfortunate kind of shoot yourself in the foot there.
Fort Scott in a trap and a backcourt violation. There was a trap on the far side, and they say she went back and forth. So Labette County gets it back. You can't have too many more empty possessions from this point on.
Yeah, no, you have to be able to start making your move here and start kind of pushing your way.
As O'Brien travels, both these teams have been bit with the turnover bug over the last 45 seconds or so, as we've had probably 5 different possessions and 4 of them have ended in a turnover. As we have another timeout, I'm not sure who called this one. I think Fort Scott Coach Steps called the 30-second timeout. We'll keep it here and thank Labette Health for powering tonight's broadcast of Grizzly basketball. A few other sponsors for the broadcast, as I'm trying to get it over to you, Isabel. My throat's starting to bother me a little bit, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you.
Other sponsors for tonight's game include Labette Community College, Forbes Hoffman Funeral Homes, Clements Insurance Agency, Labette Health, Woodworth Enterprises, Herman Lumber, Carson Wall Funeral Homes, Commercial Bank, Eye Care Associates of Parsons, Labette Bank, the Bartlett Co-op, Labette Center for Mental Health Services, Community National Bank, Tank Connection, Wood Insurance Center, Unified School District of USD 506, the Corner Store of Altamont, Day and Zimmerman, and SEK Orthopedic. Fort
Scott breaks the Grizzly press this time. O'Brien still swiping at the ball. Doesn't get it. Yarrick for 3. Got it. That's a dagger.
Yeah, and if you leave her open like that, she's going to hit it every time.
First field goal of the fourth quarter for Fort Scott, and Labette County's yet to score in the fourth. So it's just been turnovers, defense here in the fourth quarter. Coach Vollmer wants a timeout, and we'll take 30 seconds on KLKC.
With many years of combined experience, Eye Care Associates of Parsons has set the framework in providing comprehensive eye health examinations for all ages and routine vision care for families throughout the 4-state area. Our optometrists and staff provide remarkable care with state-of-the-art technology to help with diagnosis and management of eye health conditions. Give us a call or visit our website to schedule your next eye exam. Eye Care Associates of Parsons. Experience modern eye care.
A shootout in the third quarter. The fourth quarter has been a stale bag of chips.
Yes.
One field goal made.
It has.
And just 3 minutes in, but it has no feel that points are just going to come in loads anytime soon. And if they are, it has to be in favor of the Lady Grizzlies if they want to win it. Down 13, 48-35, with 4:50 to go in the game. Here's Lynn Cherney underneath. Kick it out. O'Brien. Back to Ridley. Holds the ball so high, has it swiped away by Comstock, but in the hands of Nevaeh. She'll pull up for three. Short, but a good-looking shot pretty much all night from Nevaeh. Rebound Ridley. Back to Nevaeh. A floater. Every part of the rim misses. Wilson, putback is good. That's something we haven't seen a lot of, but Shelby fighting underneath gets an offensive putback.
Yeah, that was really good to see there from Shelby Wilson as she just positioned herself perfectly there for the offensive rebound and putback.
Ellie Smith underneath scores wide open in the press breaker. Ellie Smith is at double figures at 10 points.
Yeah, and if you're Labette County, that cannot happen if you're going to want to try to make a comeback here.
Here comes Dewey. Jones launches a left wing three. Air ball. Rebound Yarrick. Steal. O'Brien. Layup. No. Lynn Cherney flying in. And Yarrick's got it. Long pass. Brown. Layup. No. Rebound Nevaeh. She's shoved into Brown. And Brown's holding her face. Man, that probably hurt. You get hit in the nose somewhere sensitive. Oh, man, your eyes start watering. It hurts. As Brown puts up a finger like, give me a minute. As I think Jones, they called a foul on FortScott. Jones was pushed into Brown pretty hard, and I think she just got hit in the nose. Man, that hurts.
Yeah, that's definitely not a fun area to be hit. And plus, it was pretty decent. She hit the floor pretty decent, so she's probably a little bit rattled as anyways.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
As we see the replay, Nevaeh was hit hard from the back and then goes like face-to-face contact. Nevaeh's fine, but, man, that's a hard hit. I think it was Nevaeh's forehead or the top of her head, a little less sensitive area, went right into the direct face of Allie Brown. So 1-1 at the other end for Nevaeh Jones. First free throw is good. And when she plays confident, she'll score 10 or 12, 14 a game. She's a good ball player, Nevaeh Jones.
Yeah, she's also somebody I'd like, as we kind of talked about who would fill the box score. She's somebody I definitely think can do that for this lady squad.
She's at 11, makes both free throws. Here's Comstock. 11-point FortScott lead with 3:40 to go. Yarrick hasn't had one of her regular nights, but still up to 15 points. And yes, I said not one of her regulars. She scored nearly 30 multiple times this season. She was held to 6 against Chanute, so the Blue Comets did a nice job against her. As we have a foul on Labette County, that is just the 6th. So one more, and FortScott will be shooting 1-1. That's 3 on Audrey Dewey. Yarrick throws a long pass to Murphy, and I think it's off of Murphy. Oh, no, they're going to say it's off of Labette County. It stays with FortScott. Shelby Wilson will check back in for Audrey Dewey.
As if you're FortScott, you kind of got bailed out on that play as the pass went to Murphy, but Ridley was face guarding her, so it kind of bounced off the back of her.
Labette County had an 18-point third quarter. Here's a layup missed. Rebound Rexwinkle. Following just a 6-point second quarter. So what a response out of the locker room. Rexwinkle is open for a straightaway three. It's short. Rebound O'Brien. Tries to get a closer look and dumps it off to Ridley. Heaves a shot that's blocked, and they're going to have a push called on Kylie Comstock. That's the 4th on Kylie and the 8th on FortScott, so 1-1 for Shelby. .309 on the clock. She can get them back to single digits here. Misses. Rebound Nevaeh Jones. Goodness, Labette County's offensive rebounding off of missed free throws has been unbelievable. Here's Lynn Cherney with a give to Caton. A short bounce pass to Rexwinkle in the corner and a travel. As after the rebound was brought down, it did not feel like a good possession from Labette.
No.
Ridley nearly traveled.
Yep.
Caton nearly turned it over, and then she somehow got it to Rexwinkle, who traveled.
Yeah, it was just kind of one of those things where you had a bad taste in your mouth the whole time, hoping that something good would come out of it.
Brown in the game after getting hit in the nose. Good to see. Here's a pass thrown away. O'Brien with it. Has to switch hands. Chooses the right side and is fouled on a little pull-up from about 8 feet. Not even that. 6 feet or so. As she's so manipulative in the full court, she'll have 2 girls on her and she'll know where to go with it.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's made her very deadly this season, is just kind of being smart with the basketball on those breakaway moves.
Her first free throw's good. Caton just 2 for 6 from the free throw line tonight, but both times after she missed 2 in a row, she got an and 1. Second, good. So Labette is within single digits with 2:40 to go.
Yeah, the game's not over yet. There is definitely still time, but Labette County has to move here.
Here's Yarick with the ball in the corner. Settles and reverses it around the horn to Brown on the far side. Yarick comes to get it. Gives a little head fake on a 3 and gets Murphy. Brown defended by O'Brien. Fresh off of a steal, nearly got another one. And then a foul is called on Caton.
I don't hate that foul because they were definitely working the ball around. I don't know if they were truly trying to waste time, but they were definitely taking time off the clock. So you'd rather try to make them earn the points here.
It's just a 1-and-1 for Brown also. She has 9 points on the night. She makes the first. Now she has 10 points, but those 9 points came on 3 3-pointers in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Where Labette County scored 18 points in the third quarter, but the Lady Tigers matched it at 18 of their own off 4 made 3-pointers in that quarter. 7 total 3-pointers made by both teams in the third quarter. Brown makes both of them. And do we have a... Oh, we have a substitution. Carson Wonderly replaces Allie Brown. Still kind of holding that nose a little bit. Man, that hurts so bad.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't get over that. That hurts when you get hit in the nose. Here's Nevaeh, deep left side. Labette County has to move. O'Brien, deep 3 off the mark. It looked good the whole way. Rebound Smith. Labette County's offensive rebounding has been so good.
Yeah.
You're not convinced that they don't have possession until Fort Scott crosses half court.
Yeah, I would agree. They definitely fight until they kind of have to get back in a way.
Lynn Cherney gambles on a passing lane, misses, and Murphy lays it in as Lynn Cherney kind of flew past her a little bit. What a screen by Ridley. Here's Nevaeh, left wing 3. No good. Oh, it went in and then fell out.
That looked good. I almost thought we were getting 3 points there.
Other end layup, missed. Rebound Nevaeh. With 90 seconds to go, Labette trails 13, and now it's looking pretty gloom. But moments ago, you had a chance, down 9. Rexwinkle for 3 in the corner. Hit high, goes down. Lynn Cherney in a fight. Jump ball called. Possession, Fort Scott.
Yeah, as I think Ridley kind of wanted a foul there, as she might have wrestled with Murphy there a little bit, but it'll be a jump ball.
Jessie Comstock, I think, got hit in the chest. She's saying that, I don't know if, okay, I think she's fine. It kind of looked like she was saying, I'm having a hard time breathing, like I can't breathe. Man, that was a dog fight in there. She's holding her. She might have had some wind knocked out of her a little bit.
And that's not a comfortable feeling in the slightest.
There are not many people in this world that I could fight and win. Not very many at all. And Ridley Lynn Cherney's definitely one of them. I would be out in about the first 10, 15 seconds of the round.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you.
Okay, thank you. I had my girlfriend saying I'd get knocked out in 5 seconds live on the air. I'll take it. As we do have a timeout, as there was just kind of referees conversing for a moment. We do have a timeout. We'll take 30 seconds. Labette trails by 13 with 1:17 left. 30-second break on KLKC.
Bowen Pharmacy supports the Parsons Vikings here, and here, and here. It's our goal to keep you covered. At Bowen Pharmacy, we give no excuses for you not to make it to the game. And it's always a great day to be a Viking.
To go in the game. Lady Grizzlies down 13. FortScott basketball. They have to go the full length of the floor. Murphy, the inbounder, throws it into Yarick. Nevaeh Jones sprinting to get in front of her. Boy, Nevaeh's played awesome tonight.
Yeah, she really has put up a lot of effort. You got to be proud of that player tonight.
Yarick still with it. O'Brien comes to double, and she heaves it to a new face, Abby Gorman, a freshman in the ballgame for FortScott. Yarick with under 60 to go. Throws it over the head. She's still got it. Got it back from that pass, rather. Double team, Jones and O'Brien. That's a lethal duo. She somehow escapes it and hits the deck and gets it off to Gorman as FortScott's just burning clock. But man, what a fight from Labette County. It did. Oh, we have a turnover over there.
Looks like Wonderly carried it, or at least that's what the ref signaled.
But this does feel a lot like the Bonner Springs game.
Yes, I was just going to kind of actually bring that up because you mentioned that in the pregame, and it feels so much like that as Labette County has given it their all.
Audrey Dewey with a desperation little jumper off the mark and a foul underneath on Labette County. That'll stop the clock at 24 seconds. They're going to get Lynn Cherney. Ridley's third. Team's eighth. Mackenzie Murphy shooting 1-1. She's 0 for 2 from the line tonight. Pardon me, she had some in the first. She's 1 for 4. Correction. Murphy makes it. Hit the front side of the rim, backside, went high and fell. 55-41, Murphy up to 10. Four different players in double figures for FortScott. Second is too short. Rebound O'Brien. 22 seconds to go in the contest. Here's Caton. Downhill. Pulls up from the elbow. Air ball. Dewey with it. Double teamed. Has to try to clear space and is shoved to the ground. And a travel. Okay, they're going to say Coach Vollmer got the timeout in before the travel. It's a full timeout, so we'll take 30 and come back and talk a bit about the closing seconds of this one. 30 seconds on KLKC.
High school sports fans, follow your team live with the free ScoreStream mobile app. Just download ScoreStream to get real-time scores, photos, and awesome video from your game and your rivals. Plus, follow your favorite teams and friends. Get real-time high school sports from ScoreStream.
Bowen Pharmacy supports the Parsons Vikings here, and here, and here. It's our goal to keep you covered. At Bowen Pharmacy, we give no excuses for you not to make it to the game. And it's always a great day to be a Viking.
Jack Leak with Isabel Redford and Lucas Hayward just off to our left, running our YouTube live stream. As Isabel, you're not going to win, but in my opinion, it looks like Labette County, Independence, and FortScott are going to be the top three duking it out for an SEK title here later on.
Yeah, I definitely agree, especially if FortScott can fall. I mean, these teams are going to kind of rotate on wins and losses, I think, to each other, so it'll definitely be interesting to see come late season what the standings will be.
Labette County with the final possession of the game. 4 seconds left. Here's Dewey with the give to Jones with a good look. It's good. There you go. As you get it to 11, as that is exactly the margin that Labette County lost to Bonner Springs.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This felt just like that game.
Yeah.
But Nevaeh Jones with a buzzer-beating three-pointer at the end of the game. As she finished with a nice night. Nevaeh shooting the ball really well, or at least did tonight. Labette County falls 55-44 but definitely raised a few heads across the SEK in terms of where they might be here in a month in terms of an SEK title. We expect our Grizzlies to be right there, not far on the outside, looking in. Not a bad showing from Coach Vollmer's squad at all, and we would like to remind you that you will hear from Coach Vollmer at halftime of the boys' game, kind of changing up that routine just a little bit, fits into our schedule just a little bit better, as they put a 15-minute timer on the clock. But for now, we'll step aside for a 2-minute timeout here on KLKC and come back with a brief Bowen Pharmacy post-game show. Scoring totals for you as we welcome you into our Bowen Pharmacy post-game show. For your Lady Grizzlies, Nevaeh Jones had 14, hit that buzzer-beating 3 as Grizzlies fell 55-44 to the Lady Tigers. Caden O'Brien had a dozen. Shelby Wilson had 4, Addison Rexwinkle had 6, and Audrey Dewey had 3. Kinsley Boss coming up the rear with 1. For the Fort Scott Lady Tigers, 4 players in double figures. Leading the way was Keegan Yarrick with 15, Allie Brown with 11, 3 3-pointers in the third quarter, where each team scored 18 points. Murphy had 10, Smith had 10, and Comstock had 8. And Kylie Comstock, Jesse's sister, had 1. As we will just go ahead and transition into our boys pregame show brought to you by Tank Connection, is usually they put either 20 minutes on the clock or 15 and wait a little bit before they start it, but man, they got off and running here tonight. So we'll go ahead and dive into our boys pregame show. Again, brought to you by Tank Connection. 11 minutes until tip-off, Labette County, Fort Scott. Isabel, this historically is a tough place to win, and if you're a loyal member of Grizzly Nation, you probably remember the very much so controversial buzzer-beating, quote-unquote, 3-pointer that took place here last year where Fort Scott hit a 3-pointer that the young man had the ball in his hands as the clock went off, but the ref said it was good, and Labette County lost as a result, and man, that hurt a lot of Grizzly Nation. You could feel it. It hurt the bench. Argerbright was upset. So hopefully, like we said in our post-game show on Tuesday, we're not even in a position tonight where a controversial buzzer beater would even be in effect.
Yeah.
But Isabel, this is a tough place to come win a basketball game.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's always kind of for me anyways, in the years past, it's always been a dreaded road game. You got to go an hour north. Usually you get back late. Depending on the day of the week you play, it's not fun either. And it's a brutal environment to win in. And especially, I mean, I know that these boys have had that, especially the ones that were on the team last year or that played the varsity game in which that controversial call was made. They definitely left a bad taste in their mouth, and they wanted revenge on that kind of. And so it's definitely going to be something that I know Coach Argerbright has worked on, and they want that to not even be a controversial issue here tonight. So hopefully we see just a great performance by these boys.
Labette County 4-3 on the season, but much so more importantly, 3-0 inside the SEK.
Yeah.
With wins over Independence, Parsons, and Chanute. FortScott, Isabel will have our opponent preview momentarily, but they're at 500 on the season at 3-3 overall, and inside the SEK, 0-2. So FortScott and Labette County in different situations, but still so early in the year, nothing is out of reach for anyone. But key players tonight in the ballgame for Labette County in particular. Hudson Baker averaging 16 points a game.
Yep.
As we take a quick look back, as we highlight some players, as well as take a look at that Chanute game on Tuesday, where Labette County took care of business against the Blue Comets. The game stretched towards the end, and they won 50-38, but leading scorer for Labette County, two guys with 10 points, Hudson Baker and Joe Page. Joe had 2 3-pointers, as he always does in that fashion in the second half. Xavier Phillips had 9 and probably 9 offensive rebounds, to be honest with you. He was awesome on the offensive boards. Griff Eaton had 8. Kagan Bates had 4, sparking a run early in the first quarter, and Trey Vinson had 5. Matthew Boyle played one of his more active games all year and had 2 points, but had his fingerprints in more places than just the box score. 8 minutes until tip-off, as we are going to step aside for a 30-second timeout and come back with things we don't know and things we know about our Grizzly boys. Welcome into the Tank Connection pregame show of Grizzly basketball as we welcome you into tonight's edition of Things We Know and Things We Don't Know about our Grizzly boys. Something that we do know and that has definitely become a thing, especially since you start 3-0 inside the SEK. An SEK title is slowly becoming something that is Labette County's to lose more so than it is to win. I know it's early, and I know 3-0 can flip in a week. I understand it. But the way this Labette County team has played, the way that in which they have won, they look like last season Labette County really struggled in the months of December and January. And then they got really, really good in February and made it to the sub-state championship there late in the season, and they were playing really good basketball. That's taking place right now. Now, can they still improve and can they still peak? Absolutely. But this season, Labette County looks like they did last year as they were peaking. So the ceiling has risen this year for Grizzly basketball, and state is not out of the question by any means. Heck, they were one game away from it last year, had that awesome team last year with Alex, Eli, John Redford, those guys, but this year it feels a little bit different. So something that we do know about this team is that an SEK title is right there for the taking. Something that we don't know is, can we win on the road? Now, we had that circle tournament, but and we opened at Bonner where it was just a blowout. 79-45, it was brutal. Then we went to Mulvane. That's a true road win. You win by 16 at Mulvane, but I doubt we have any Mulvane listeners. That atmosphere was pretty dead. It was a dead atmosphere. So it's not going to be anything like tonight. It's not an SEK league game. The student section wasn't dressed up as cowboys to make fun of your school. like they are tonight, I'm referring to. Fort Scott student section dressed up as cowboys, cowgirls to kind of poke at Labette County's culture. But this is that true road game. You played at Circle, still non-conference, but tonight, after 3 straight home SEK games, we're going to find out, can Labette County win on the road? Those are a couple things that we know, and a thing that we do not know yet, but we will find out tonight about Grizzly basketball. We're going to step aside for a 60-second timeout, and Isabel Redford will bring us back with our opponent preview and keys to tonight's game.
And we welcome you back here tonight inside Fort Scott High School as we're preparing for tip-off between our 2 boys varsity games. And we're going to kind of jump now into our opponent preview. Now these Fort Scott boys, as Jack mentioned earlier, they're 3-3 on the season and 0-2 in the SEK. They lost to Chanute and they lost to Parsons, as those are the only SEK games that they have played this season. And now looking back at what they bring, they only have 2 seniors and 3 juniors. So they kind of have their main 5, but the rest are underclassmen, being sophomores and freshmen. So they have a very young team, and they definitely don't necessarily bring back a ton of returners. However, they do bring back the height. They've got several guys that right at 6 foot or a little bit over. They've got 2 big men that are sitting at 6'6". So they have height across the roster as something that Labette County hasn't necessarily seen a ton of, or they've been on kind of the advantage end of having kind of the mismatch. So it'll be interesting tonight to see how they handle some guys that are a little bit more up with their height range. And also being that Spencer Goldston is probably one of their best players on the team. He performed very well at Chanute, and he has done very well for this team in this season. So it's definitely going to be somebody to watch for the Tigers offense, and definitely somebody Labette County's going to have to pay attention to. Now in that game with Chanute, this is something also Labette County's going to have to watch, is that the Tigers were down 17 points at half, and then they came back and tied it with 5 minutes left in the game against Chanute. And so even though they still ended up losing that game, they definitely came back from a huge deficit. And so Labette County cannot be comfortable with any kind of lead tonight until the game is over, because these Fort Scott Tigers do have what it takes for comeback wins. Also, for their coach, Coach Kroll has 28 years of experience. This was something interesting that we found out, is that he has coached at many different schools, including Parsons, Frankfort, Lewisburg, Yates Center. He actually coached for both the Parsons girls and boys programs over the span of 2002 to 2019. So he has his hands kind of all over the SEK in experience and being in different programs. And so it's going to be fun to kind of watch him work his magic tonight here on his home floor. Now, in looking at what Labette County needs to do to win tonight, they need to be aware of the height. They need to realize that they are matched up with these guys a little bit more closely, and they need to be able to take advantage of that and just kind of put the pedal to the metal first, have kind of their feet in the driver's seat, and just be able to kind of press the gas the whole way, because that's something these boys can do well. But if they let Fort Scott back in it and let their mentality fade, then it's going to be a little bit tougher battle for them. And also, I think fundamental passing. These guys, with being high, having more of that height, having the differentials, they're going to have to be able to run a tight offense. They're going to want to be able to look for good passing lanes. They've kind of struggled with passing a little bit in some recent games, and just not looking before they pass, or just assuming that the other guy's going to be there. So if they can kind of shore that up, I think we're definitely going to see them take home the W tonight. But we'll see what happens here when we get this game underway.
Thank you, Isabel, and that is tonight's opponent preview, as it'll be Labette County and Fort Scott facing off in SEK game number 3 for Fort Scott and number 4 for your Grizzlies that are undefeated in that category of play. The American flag is making its way down from the rafters here in Fort Scott Gymnasium. We are going to step aside for a 2-minute timeout and come back with starters, the scene setter, and tip-off here on KLKC. Here in Fort Scott, first for the home team, number 2, a 5'11" freshman, Dirks Kegler. Number 11, a 5'10" junior, Spencer Goldston. Number 23, a 6'6" senior, Marquin Johnson. Number 24, a 6'6" junior, Rocco Lafredo, as Coach Kroll is electing to start those two 6'6" big men. This could be an interesting matchup. And coming up the rear, number 30, a 5'11" sophomore, Dub Chipman, head coach for the Fort Scott Tigers, is former Parsons Vikings head coach. Coach for almost 30 years has Coach Mike Kroll. Took a couple years off, and now he is part of the Tiger Den. Starting for your Grizzlies is Hudson Baker, Matthew Boyle, Trey Vinson, Griffin Eaton, and Xavier Phillips. Head coach for your Grizzlies, Bradley Argabright. We're going to step aside for tonight's scene setter of Grizzly basketball. Broadcasting live. Meister for 3 in the lead! Yes! From the studio of KLKC Parsons, Wilson launches another 3, and it's pure for Shelby Wilson! This is Grizzly basketball on 106.7 FM KLKC Parsons. Unbelievable win! I cannot believe it! Marquin Johnson, 6'6", going against Hudson Baker, 6'7", at midcourt on the red Tiger paw. We're live from Fort Scott High School. Jack Leak with Isabel Redford and Lucas Hayward on the YouTube live stream. Here we go, SEK matchup for your Grizzlies. Number 4, can they stay undefeated? Tip goes in the direction of Johnson and Fort Scott.
this will definitely be an interesting matchup to kind of see, because height's pretty evenly spread across the floor.
Opening possession for Fort Scott results in a turnover, a backcourt violation. Sloppy possession number 1 for the home team.
Yeah, so that's just unfortunate for Fort Scott. But again, Labette County, this is a situation they can instantly capitalize on here in the opening seconds.
Griff Eaton and Trey Vincent have been 2 of the best point guards in the SEK in the young goings of the season. Here's a lob play backdoor, and it will not be converted as they ran a backdoor screen for Baker, a lob from Vincent, and the layup was just short for the big fella. Here's an entry pass on the other end, looking for Lafredo. Boyle tips it out. There's a lot of length in this contest.
Yeah, for sure, and we're seeing that early, but thankfully both sides are kind of holding their ground here, as Labette County's not giving easy buckets.
Lady Vikings knocked off the Lady NATO of Coffeyville, 55-32 just moments ago. Three-pointer for the, Vikings. For the Tigers is off the mark. Rebound off the hands of Boyle. It'll stay with Fort Scott.
Yeah, as Chipman was left wide open there for the three-point, but thankfully it did not go in, and Labette County was able to save the bucket.
Parsons, Lady Vikes definitely in that race for the SEK title as well. Here's Kegler with it. Now Johnson. Ball's on the deck, and yeah, that's a good call. It's going to be a foul. I think it's on Trey. Trey or Hudson? It's on Trey.
Yeah, I was going to say that was who I would have called that on as well if you're going to call a foul there, because he kind of reached over Johnson there a little too much.
Here's Chipman, right back to Goldston. He can shoot, not this time. Eaton skying for the board, bodies collide, no foul, now a late whistle. As Vincent hit the deck hard as the ball trickled out beyond this side of the half-court line. That'll be the first foul on Fort Scott. Labette County is working the hardwood left to right. Fort Scott right to left. Fort Scott 0-2 in league play, Labette 3-0. Fort Scott actually had their first home game of the season on Tuesday here against Iola. So they're savoring the home games as well, like we are. Phillips is going to inbound it after it was tipped out just moments ago. 6:44 on the clock, still scoreless. Pass over the top to Baker, defended by Johnson. That is Kegler. Here's Boyle, left wing three, off the mark. Baker trying to fight for it, tips it out and can't get there. Oh, they're going to say it's off Kegler. Oh my goodness, was that off Kegler?
I would have bet money it was off Hudson Baker, but apparently not.
Vincent catches it. He'll run point on this possession that somehow ended up in favor of Labette County. I sure thought that was off of Hudson. Goodness. Vincent will drive, give it to Eaton. Here's a replay on the live stream. Here's Baker, high post area. I don't know, that's close. 6:15 first quarter, still scoreless. Vincent drive and kick. Boyle shot a three moments ago. Drives, misses a lay-in. Rebound Lafredo.
Yeah, both teams are kind of at a stalemate right now, failing to get any production going. It's a very defensive game right now for sure.
Kegler in the corner. Goldston, similar to the Lady Tigers, ball doesn't stick for Fort Scott boys either. Baker with the block. It leaks out. Phillips leans, loses it. It's saved by Fort Scott. Then, yes, it is out of bounds. Kegler tried to save it, and his foot was out of bounds.
Yeah, that was just a little bit short there by the Tigers, so it'll be Labette County's ball again.
Phillips inbounds it to Vincent at the top. Set play for Margaret Bright is in. Eaton, right side. Him and Vincent beyond the arc, right across from each other. Baker down low with Boyle. As Phillips, some miscommunication, looking for Boyle, threw it away. Here come the Tigers. A defensive juggernaut here early. Johnson underneath with Baker. Trying to work on it. Phillips strips it right away from him. Here he comes. Bounce pass. Baker loses it. Goldston fighting and wins it. And then they almost throw it away. Ball's going to roll out of bounds off of Kegler.
That's definitely not going to make Fort Scott fans happy.
What a start.
this has just been an interesting start to this game. You're exactly right.
My pencil's hungry to go to work. I didn't need any lead tonight. 3 minutes in, 0-0. Just a lot of loose balls. Joe Page checks in for Matthew Boyle. Joe shoots from the free throw line and misses.
Yeah, that was just a very flat shot right off the back of the rim there for Page.
As Golston's blocked from behind. What a block by Xavier. Long pass up ahead. Vincent is fouled and will shoot free throws. But Labette County's length, even though it is matched in a couple categories tonight, is still prevailing on block shots around the rim.
Yeah, they're definitely, that is one thing I will say. Labette County, you can have length, but you have to know how to use it. And Labette County does that so well with shot blocking and stealing and being smart with their length. So that's definitely one thing I will say. They do have a little bit of advantage over these Tigers.
Trey misses the first free throw. Cal Cousins checks in for Spencer Goldston. Trey's second is good. So there we go. First point of the night to the Grizzlies. 1-0 good guys. 4:40 to go in the opening quarter. Here comes Cousins the other way. Nobody stops him, gives it up. Johnson lay in good.
And you knew at some point somebody would break the scoring bucket. And so now I think we're going to start to see a lot more shots fall.
That's usually how it goes. Vincent will drive, layup, no. Baker skies for it, goodness. He'll kick it out to Phillips, never mind a cheerleader's backpack. Hits row number 4, turnover Labette County.
Yeah, and that's just unfortunate there as Baker kind of frazzled, it appeared. Just turned and threw it, and that's something I talked about in pregame is they have to know where their other guy is before they just turn and throw.
Kegler gets by multiple red jerseys and a layup is no good. Johnson put back, yes.
As if you're Labette County, you have to respond here.
Eaton with a dribble drive, gives it up to his fellow point guard Vincent. Tough place to win a game here in the Tigers' den. Page for 3, yes. He's a snake, he's got cold blood.
He does, and he kind of just shows up whenever you kind of need something to start you going, and that's exactly what Joe Page just did right there. Sinked a cold 3 to silence the FortScott crowd.
It was 4-1, and we're halfway through the first quarter, but man, the student section is jawing away over there. Anytime you're over in that corner, they are in your ear.
Oh, yeah.
Here's Kegler, three-pointer left side, no good, tipped out by Page. It'll stay with the team in white. That's FortScott red numbers and Labette County Road Reds white numbers. This is going to be a good classic FortScott finish. At least it seems like it as of now. Kegler in the corner, catches it low, picks it up and rotates the basketball. Johnson standing at 6'6", gives it up. Here's a blocked shot, and Cousins is going to turn and throw it right to Vincent. Vincent gets the angle that he wants, Euros, and is fouled, and will shoot 2 more.
And yeah, he's just kind of just gradually improved in his driving skills this season. We've talked about it a little bit and seen it in several games, but it's just been fun to kind of watch him facilitate.
Cousins got caught in the air, had to throw it somewhere, and lucky for us, he threw it right to one of our favorite point guards in the SEK, Trey Vincent, the other being Griff Eaton, of course. Trey knocks down the first. 5-4 Labette County. Spencer Golston checks in, replacing Dub Chipman, a fellow starter. 2:57 to go in the opening quarter. Trey Vincent bends at the waist, fires and misses. Lead stays at 1 for Labette. Vincent 2 for 4 from the free throw stripe. Here's Kegler, looking to get it to Johnson. Has to kick it out. Another blocked shot. Phillips with another block. Here's a pass up ahead to Xavier, and he's hacked hard, and he'll shoot 2 more free throws. But Griffin Eaton was the recipient of the rebound outlet as Phillips blocked a 3-point shot. Page rebounded it, gave it to Griff, who turned and slung a dart to Xavier Phillips.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal just sequence of events there for the Labette County boys. as they are really working, well, I mean, their length, but they're jumping out of the gym right now to make sure that the Fort Scott Tigers have the hardest possible chance of putting the ball in the hoop.
Right. As we talked about it, Coach Ruggerbright said on the Parsons Sun, I'm hold teams under 40. He's confident we can score 40.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. Make the other team play really bad mentality, and you can have some hiccups and still be fine.
Yeah.
Labette County up 3, 7-4. A good classic SEK fight on the road. Page is going to be called for a blocking foul as he was trying to ride the hip of Lafredo, and the ref didn't like what she saw. That'll be the second team foul in Labette County. Fort Scott with 4, and the first on Joe. Inbound goes to Kegler. Page almost got a steal, missed the passing lane. Lafredo turns, misses. Page back in action, gets the board. Labette County is running. It's Phillips versus Goldston. Now he'll back it down. Here's Eaton soaring in, shooting an underhand layup. No, and he's going to come back into play, and they're going to say his foot was out of bounds as he came back from near where the cheerleaders are standing, tried to save the play, and his foot was out.
Yeah, good effort, though. Just a few inches short there of being able to save that under the basket for Labette County.
Goldston will run point. As Goldston is, for a comparison, kind of like Allie Brown on the Lady Tigers team.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Goldston hits 3 threes in a quarter tonight. He's just kind of like that, not really streaky shooter, but when he wants to shoot, it's usually on. He's defended by Vincent. Man-to-man defense for Labette County. Baker calls out a screen. Eaton sees it. Here's Lafredo. Good switching defense from Labette County. Here's Johnson one-on-one with Baker. Now he's helped Lafredo from 6. Got it.
Yeah, that's as good of a defense as you could have expected there from Labette County, but Fort Scott just continuing to just kind of pressure in there down low and eventually scoring too.
7-6 Labette. Minute 15 first quarter. Been a slugfest. Vincent, left side, given space by Kegler. Now he closes the gap. Set play for Page. Top of the key, Trey, short. Rebound, Phillips, fighting, gets it. Phillips will face, ball's on the deck, has to find somebody, and finds Vincent. Gets his man to bite, puts it on the floor, and a foul on Fort Scott. They're not letting much get by. It was the same in the ladies' contest.
Yeah, the refs are doing a very good job of not letting too much contact go before they're calling a foul, so.
Substitution for Fort Scott. Cal Cousins checks in for Dirks Kegler. Here's Vincent on the rotation off the inbound. It goes to Eaton in the opposite corner of where it was inbounded, and he'll turn and give it to Page. Vincent, left wing, gives a shake, gets his man to bite, finds Baker underneath, and he...
Looks like it was going to be a 3-second call.
It was? Okay, thank you. I didn't know. 3 seconds on Hudson. That's been called 4 or 5 times tonight.
Yeah, they are definitely watching the paint down there for sure.
As Kagan Bates will check in for Griffin Eaton. As Labette County was down 9-4 against Chanute, nothing was going. Late first quarter, Coach Argerbright checks Kagan Bates in, and Labette goes on a 4-0 run and never looks back. Kagan Bates is a spark plug. We'll see what he can do here at Fort. 30 seconds to go in the quarter. Page nearly called for a second foul, flirting with one, that is. Here's Johnson with the dribble handoff in the hands of Christian Peranto. 6-foot-tall senior just checked in. Fort Scott has some length as well. Johnson, kick out. Kegler for 3. No. Phillips with the board. 15 seconds to go. Labette County streaking out. Here's Vincent. He'll settle. Now he'll drive. Bates in the corner. He wants it. 8 seconds. Little floater short in the hands of Johnson. Bates still fighting. Almost got it back. Here's Goldston with 2 seconds across the half-court line. Shoots a running floater. No good. And that'll do it for quarter number 1. It was entertaining. If you like defense, tune in. Or stay with us, that is. 7-6, Labette County on top. 60-second timeout on KLKC.
My name is Bria, and I'm a pharmacist at Bowen Pharmacy. I'm here today to tell you about one of our patient programs, Meds to Beds. Bowen Pharmacy South is located in the medical office building at Labette Health. Our staff works closely with the doctors, nurses, and social care workers to ensure that your transition out of the hospital is an easier and more convenient experience for you and your loved ones. If you are having inpatient or outpatient surgery, we will get your medications directly from your doctor and deliver them right to your hospital bed. If you are having a baby, we will get your medications or anything else that you may need to get your family home without the hassle of making several stops along the way. Whether you're here for a few hours or a few days, we are here at Bowen Pharmacy and Bowen Pharmacy South to help get you well without any interruption in transition of care. Just ask for Meds to Beds. At Bowen Pharmacy and Bowen Pharmacy South, we are here for you today and we are here for you tomorrow.
FortScott with the basketball. Walking it up is Kegler. On the floor with him is Goldston, Peranto, Lafredo, Johnson. For Labette, as we have a foul going the other way on FortScott. I didn't see what the call was, but it goes on Peranto. That is the 5th on FortScott, so that could be big as we near the back half of the second quarter. Checking in is Ty Marbury, a 6'4" sophomore, as well as Colton Rogers, a 5'11" sophomore, for Coach Kroll's squad. On the floor for Labette County as they get possession is Kagan Bates, the inbounder here, throwing it to Trey Vinson. Xavier Phillips is in the far corner, Baker on the low block, and Page in the opposite corner of Phillips. Labette working left to right, 30 seconds into the second quarter. Bates picked up by Goldston. Here's Bates surveying. Finds Phillips, screen set, Baker, they'll roll. Phillips keeps it, right hand hook is good. That's pretty from Xavier Phillips. As we have a travel on Dirks Kegler, Kagan Bates forced the travel. I'm telling you.
Tell me what you're thinking.
You know, now listen, I know Kagan, he's my buddy. When he comes in and gets the ball, you know that some of these junior and senior guards on the other teams are licking their chops.
Oh, yeah.
Fresh meat. I'm telling you, that's the last thing you should do when Kagan Bates checks into a ball game.
I agree.
He is a ball player. Skip past Phillips, Kagan to Phillips, it's good! Phillips on a 5-0 run. Kagan Bates sparked that one and gave him the assist. He's just so good.
Yes.
He plays so smart.
He does. That's what I was going to say. Is it's more than just, he's really good at basketball. He's a freshman. He's just got that IQ that kind of makes him that next level. And he plays like he isn't a freshman. He plays like he's had that experience. And sometimes you need that fake it till you make it confidence, which I know he has that confidence anyways. But he just doesn't care about any of that and just plays basketball. And I think that's what makes him so good.
Kegler with the basketball left side. FortScott down 6. Phillips with another block, but a foul on the floor. I think they're going to get Kagan on a personal. That's the 4th on Labette County.
That will go on Kagan Bates. But still, good block, though, by Phillips there on the end. Too bad it was first followed by a foul.
At the line is Kegler. Misses the first. Get my feet under me again, my apologies. FortScott trails Labette County 12-6 with 6:47 to go in the half. Kegler makes the second. Checking in is Rocco Lafredo. He replaces his fellow 6'6" center. Say that 5 times fast. Marquin Johnson. Here comes Xavier Phillips with the ball. That's FortScott's first point of the second quarter. Labette County has a 3-pointer from Xavier. Here's Bates with the ball. Splitting 2 defenders. Gets to the paint, gives it to Baker. He'll lean, shoot, and score! Kagan Bates is a floor general, and Hudson Baker is the cleanup crew. Here comes Goldston quickly.
As that was just a really aggressive finish there by Hudson Baker. That's something that I've been waiting to see from him.
Phillips up to 7 points on the night. Baker with his first 2. 14-7, Labette County. As everybody knows, as Johnson checks back in for Marbury, as you have a precious opportunity here. It's hard to come into Fort Scott and really beat a Fort Scott team. It's just hard to do. But Labette County's up 7. Their length is obviously a problem for Fort Scott. Kegler misses a 3, and Hudson gets the rebound, and a foul on Kegler going the other way. And it'll be 1-1 for your 6'7" center, Hudson Baker. But what I was saying, it feels like Labette County should control this game for the rest.
Yes, and I hope they do, because they're playing like it.
It just watching it.
Yeah.
They can't handle Xavier Phillips. They're focusing on Hudson a lot. Joe Page is another stretch problem on defense as Baker makes the first. So it just looks like a good matchup in favor for Labette County. So this next 6 minutes, I mean, it's a precious opportunity. I feel like Labette could go up 13 or so at halftime. Baker misses the second. Here comes Goldston. He's been kept in check, scoreless. Johnson has 4 and Lafredo has 2. Kegler's got 1. Here's a little shot that's good from Kegler. Underneath the basket, 15-9. 6-minute mark surpassed. Pass across the half-court line. Baker gives it right back to Eaton. Eaton, dump inside Baker, triple teamed, not a good decision. Here comes Goldston, Bates in there, tries to take the charge. He called the charge! Kagan Bates draws the charge. I thought it was a block. I'm sorry, Kagan, I just thought it was a block.
Yeah.
Doing my job. But man, Kagan Bates. Xavier Phillips is replaced by Matthew Boyle, and Kagan Bates takes a seat as well. I think Trey came back in for him. He did.
Yeah, as Kagan just kind of beat Goldston to the spot. And honestly, in my opinion, it could have been a 50-50 call. I could have seen it going either way. But just smart basketball IQ there for at least Kagan to put himself in position to get that foul.
Page in the corner. Gives it to Baker. Half-court set for Labette. Page, his favorite shot. Right wing 3 is good. Gives a little celebration. Looks at the Fort Scott bench and gets back to play some defense. 18-9 Labette County. Page with 2 threes. Man, he's a good shooter.
He is.
Here's Johnson underneath. Turns, shoots, and scores over Hudson. That'll do it. I mean, when you have 2 good, towering basketball players, each of them are going to get theirs.
Yeah, it's definitely a hard shot to shoot over anybody, especially when you're contesting inside. So good effort there by Johnson.
Joe wants it again in the corner. Baker travels.
Yes, he didn't like that call, but that's exactly what it's going to be.
Xavier checks in for Hudson. Hudson just with 2 points. 18-11 Labette County. 4:50 second quarter. 18 fouls on Fort Scott and 6 on Labette. Here's Rogers, defended by Boyle. Now they switch. Boyle's on Lafredo. Page is on the ball. Switching and spinning. Gives it up. Here's Kegler. Here's a baseline floater that is good from Rogers. And Fort Scott's back within 5. And Griff Eaton traveled in the press break.
Yeah, as if you're Labette County, you need to just kind of stop. You don't want to let this momentum kind of slip away from you, is what they're kind of doing with these uncharacteristic turnovers and just kind of shooting themselves in the foot here.
Labette County's already scored 11 points in the second quarter. Here's an entry pass to Johnson that is caught. Got Phillips in the air, and that's an and 1. Johnson already at 8 points, looking for 9. Not even halfway through the second quarter. Got Phillips to bite. He got him right where he wanted him, and leaned, got the foul and the basket.
Yeah, as that'll quickly have Harger Bright sending Hudson back in to kind of contest and put a better matchup there down low.
Xavier stays. Hudson replaces Matthew. Johnson's and 1 is no good. Rebound Xavier. 3-point game now. Game of runs, but mainly controlled by Labette County. 4 minutes to go in the first half. Here's Eaton snatching behind the back. Rip and roll left side. Here's Baker, left elbow, eyeing down Johnson. Been a good matchup. Won by Johnson so far. Baker shoots, misses, kind of a force. Rebound Johnson.
Yeah, definitely Baker put all he had into that layup as it was a good effort. Just a little too far away from the basket.
Lafredo with a good move. Turns and shoots and scores again. Fort Scott's within one. Lafredo and Johnson combined for 12 of Fort Scott's 17 points. Eaton working on Goldston. Good matchup there, two similar ball players.
As now the student section's kind of getting into it, chanting defense. Labette County's going to need to do something here to respond.
Set play for Joe. They'll go opposite wing. Phillips for three. It's good.
That is the perfect way to shut up a student section if I've ever seen one, as he sinked it right in front of the first row.
10 points for Xavier. 2 3-pointers. Rogers gives it to Lafredo. Lafredo 6'6", playing beyond the arc. A lot of the offensive sequences for Fort Scott. 3 minutes to go in the half. 21-17 Labette. Argerbright egging on his defense. Here's a drive for Goldston. He's in prison. He'll give it out. Kegler drives baseline. Body bump, no call. They'll reverse it. Goldston for three. No. Rebound Lafredo. And he throws it to Kegler. Left-hand lay-in is good. It was a breakdown for Labette County after the offensive rebound by Kegler.
Yeah, and a lot of times your defense will kind of get shifted and not everyone's in the right spot, and that's exactly what happened there for Labette.
Kegler's at 5 points. Labette just up 2 with 2:20 to go. Another set play. Eaton on the far side. Not there. He'll drive with the right. Pull up from 7. Miss. Baker flying. Tips it out to Eaton. Eaton again. Blocked at the top. Rebound Johnson.
As I would have liked to have seen Eaton pass that kind of back out and get something set again, but, you know, he just kind of in the moment took the shot.
Dirks Kegler's loosened up a little bit. 5 points in the second quarter. Hit the last basket to get it to 2, which is where we're at now. Goldston for the tie. No. Rebound Phillips. Xavier with the skip up to Vincent. Full head of steam. Dump down, out of bounds. Turnover, Labette County. Dub Chipman checks in. He replaces Spencer Goldston on the floor for Fort Scott. Do we have a timeout? Yes, we do. A timeout, Coach Kroll. It's a full timeout. We'll keep it here and thank Labette Health for making tonight's broadcast of Grizzly basketball possible. We invite you to stay tuned for our halftime show where we will hear from Coach Vollmer. That halftime show is brought to you by Eye Care Associates of Parsons, Doctors Gilmore, Newland, and Ray. And other sponsors for the contest include the following.
Other sponsors for tonight's game include Labette Community College, Forbes Hoffman Funeral Homes, Clements Insurance Agency, Labette Health, Woodworth Enterprises, Herman Lumber, Carson Wall Funeral Homes, Commercial Bank, Eye Care Associates of Parsons, Labette Bank, the Bartlett Co-op, Labette Center for Mental Health Services, Community National Bank, Tank Connection, Wood Insurance Center, the Unified School District of USD 506, the Corner Store of Altamont, Day and Zimmerman, and SEK Orthopedic.
Thank you, Isabel. Man, it's been a fun one. First quarter, defense, and defense.
Yes.
Second quarter, still a lot of defense, but the scoring loosened up a little bit. Xavier Phillips has 8 points in the second quarter alone. Kegler's got 5 in the second quarter alone. It's just been a fun one. Fort Scott's yet to hit a 3, and they're only down 2. Labette County's hit 4 threes and made just 1 2-point basket, but they have shot 8 free throws and made 5 of them. So a little bit of everything in this one, and we're underway. 90 seconds just above second quarter. Fort Scott out of a Coach Kroll timeout. Here's Lafredo. It's been tough for Joe to stay in front of Lafredo, but he's done just fine. Here's a little shake. Gets his man to bite. Kegler baseline. Right back to him. It is Chipman. Chipman settles at the foot of the red paw, midcourt volleyball line, just inside of. Goes right side. Some claps arising from Grizzly Nation. A long offensive possession for Fort Scott. Chipman with it still. He's had it a lot of this possession. Fakes to the left. Now he'll give it left in the hands of Rogers. Inside Johnson. He's owned Baker so far. Dishes it out. Rogers again. Lowers his shoulder. Has to give it back. Long possession for both these teams. 45 seconds.
As it's nice to see Labette County working here. We just hopefully can get the turnover here because they are putting everything they have. They're doing good switching and face guarding and everything.
Coach Kroll might have just wanted to go for one shot.
Maybe.
And I don't disagree with it because you eliminate all possibilities of Labette County scoring again.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, you're down 2 at halftime. And best case, which is very much in reach, is you're tied or have a lead.
Yeah.
As he's definitely calling for just one shot. 15 seconds, now they go. They've had the ball for about a minute. 10 seconds, Argerbright waiting with probably a little bit of anxiety in his chest. 5 seconds, now they'll take it. It's a layup, blocked on a foul! On a foul! Phillips and Baker soared in for the block. Both of them hit it, but a foul was called. Argerbright's mouth immediately went agape and both hands interlocked upon his forehead. 3.4 on the clock, 2 free throws coming for Dub Chipman.
That's also Phillips' third personal foul, so that's
Wow.
going to be a big thing to consider going into second half.
Free throw no good from Chipman.
It looks like Argerbright's going to sub him out so he doesn't risk getting another one within the 3 seconds left in the half. So Matthew Boyle will check in for Phillips.
Chipman, second free throw, good. Spencer Goldston checks in for Chipman.
As if you're Labette, you've got plenty of time to kind of at least try to get down the floor for a shot here, but you got to be quick.
21-20, ball is inbounded. Eaton with a decent look, too short. Buzzer sounds at the end of the first half in Fort Scott. Labette County 21, Fort Scott 20. This game had everything in it. We're going to take a 60-second timeout and come back with our Eye Care Associates of Parsons halftime show where we will hear from Coach Vollmer. Welcome back, Grizzly Nation, to our Eye Care Associates of Parsons halftime show. Jack Leak with Isabel Redford, and now we're joined by head coach of your Lady Grizzlies, Brianna Vollmer. Coach, you come up just short, 55-44, but another hard-fought battle, one that Isabel and I compared a little bit to the Bonner Springs game. Fort Scott definitely a little bit higher level of competition, but man, did you battle.
We really battled, and that's all I asked my kids to do. I asked them to lock down defensively, and I think we had moments where, we really made huge adjustments and made big runs, and we were resilient, and then we just couldn't sustain it, and they made some big runs, and, we knew they were super athletic. If we're going to compare them to Bonner Springs, they just got kids that can play in every position, and they did that tonight. And they're a great basketball team. We knew that coming into this, and all I did was ask my kids to be as resilient as you can and play as hard as you can and go out here and be dangerous. And I think they did that. We just got to make some adjustments a lot earlier than what we did. We took almost a whole quarter to adjust in the first quarter, and when we did, it's an 11-11 game, and you just can't take that much time against a great basketball team like Fort Scott.
Yeah, I mean, Coach, I went back and watched Fort Scott play Chanute just to get an idea. And, kind of like our boys team a little bit, their top 6 are really, really good.
Yes.
Bit of a drop-off, but their top 6 are really good. So how do you prepare for, knowing that there's a little bit of everything? You can't focus too much on the perimeter, too much on the paint. What was your kind of approach to this matchup?
Our approach was to know where Yark is. Yark's arguably the best guard in our league right now. We knew she's dangerous, and we knew, if we're going to take something away from her, it's that she likes to put the ball on the floor and facilitate and get to the rim. So we talked about, closing out to her and finding her. We talked about shooters in 3, 10, and Yark, when she gets left wide open. So we've got to play a little bit tighter. If we took our chances, it was with Murphy, and then she kind of made us pay really early. And I think we kind of had nightmares and flashbacks about Parsons and how we handled Hinman and how dangerous she was. But the difference there is that they've got other kids around that are gonna, make you pay. So we approached it. We're gonna play regular man defense, and then we kind of went away from that. We played zone, and we tried to speed them up, and we got some things out of that, and then. We did really well in three-quarters court, but when we got to a half-court set, we lost shooters really quickly. So, looking in the future, we just have to make those adjustments sooner. We can't allow Murphy to have those 7 points and then expend so much energy on defense that we can't, push in transition or go find shooters and close out. So we've just got to work better on playing man defense and, hey, this kid's a shooter and she's a dribble driver. How do you guard her? And we've been working on that in practice. And what is our defensive intensity and what does that look like? And funny enough, we ran a 2-2-1 zone, and that's what we practiced yesterday because we knew that they were going to run that. I think we handled their pressure okay. I think we were sloppy with our footwork. I think they were too. I don't think the officials helped us out in that category. In high school sports, you have to make us better and make the calls consistently so that we can fix that, and they just really didn't. So that's our fault. We've got to fix that, but, asking a team to run a new, different offense and a new style, we're going to have errors, we're going to have mistakes, but I will say I'm proud of these kids because every time I've asked them to follow a game plan, they have. They haven't always executed it, but they look at me and they want that, and they had moments where they were just fire in their eyes, and I want to play, and I want to get after it for you, and they did that tonight, and I think they know now, hey, we can be kind of scary. We can compete.
For sure.
So hopefully we carry that over into the rest of SEK League play, and we're going to see them again at Harrison. So
that's right, and hopefully with a healthy Landry O'Brien as well. Caton, I very well could be off by a little bit. I'm sure you know the box score. She had 12. Nevaeh had 14. Give or take, I guess. I'm probably off a little bit.
You're right.
Okay.
That was right.
Okay. But, man, when Nevaeh plays, you kind of mentioned it a little bit a couple weeks ago, loose and confident. She's a good shooter, good driver.
Yes.
She's active. Speak a little bit about her coming out.
I just like her decision-making when she's in the flow like she is. I mean, she's just a gym rat, and she's a baller, and she loves the game of basketball, and she watches basketball all the time, and you can just tell that when she's on the floor.
Yeah,
and,
you can.
She was just playing with some confidence tonight, and if memory serves me correct, she did the same last year when she was getting, much less minutes. She came out and did some really nice things for us on that team last year. So that's just carryover, and, we gave her the head nod, and she's just ran with it. I think we got to continue to work with Nevaeh on her defense and, walking down matchups, and then just gaining some confidence in shooting. And she's had phenomenal practices before the break and then the last few days in preparation for this game and leading up to this game. So she's just going to roll with it. She's a great kid, and I'm happy it's paying off, and I want to continue to see her get better every day.
Absolutely. I think it was after the Independence game you talked about in the area of identity, buying into what we're selling. I think you said drinking the red Kool-Aid.
Oh, yeah.
It's starting to feel that a little bit.
Yeah.
It's coming.
I think they're buying in. My goal as a head coach is to get them to buy in, not just on game day, but in practices every day.
Sure.
And how do we approach that? And I think that has to do with, what drills am I putting in? Am I challenging them in practice? Are we winning these drills? And they've been doing that. And, I've been throwing random stuff at them. We don't usually handle weird stuff. But I've been trying to throw weird stuff at them, and how do we make these adjustments in the middle of practice? So they're drinking the Kool-Aid. We're going to continue to do that. I'm going to continue to make basketball a positive, fun thing for them to do, and winning is fun, and I want them to know that, and competing. And so we're competing every single day in practice when nobody's watching, so that we come out here and compete when everybody's watching.
And you can certainly see the effects of those practices, especially here tonight. At least Isabel and I saw it. Coach, it was a good one. Now you get Tuesday off and then go to Pittsburgh on Friday. So do you like having that break, not playing Tuesday, or do you prefer to kind of, I know after a loss you probably want to get right back on it, but.
I prefer to play this early, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
We have actually 2 more Tuesdays after that. So we have 3 Tuesdays where we don't play, and those are going to be really nice later. This early, it's not ideal just because we're coming off such a big break where we've practiced, and now we got to do it again. But like I said, we're going to plan practices to be efficient, get after it, play hard, get in, handle our business, and get out. And playing for a tough Pittsburgh team where we know it's got a really good guard playing right now. So, we'll take it. We can't change it at this point. I'm just glad we're continuing to compete on the road. We've won all 3 games at home, and so we've got to learn to win on the road, and that's going to be a challenge for us coming up.
And this is a tough place to come get one done. Our boys are in a dogfight now, but Coach, have a safe trip home. We thank you for coming up and joining us.
Thank you.
As you're heading home now, right? You guys leave usually about.
I've only got a few girls, and they're very engaged in this game. So I think we're going to stay a little bit longer, support the boys, and see what they can do.
There you go. Well, hey, thanks for coming up.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
This is your Eye Care Associates of Parsons halftime show. We just heard from head coach Brianna Vollmer. We appreciate you coming up, Coach. We're about 60 seconds from the beginning of the third quarter of our boys contest, and that is exactly the length of break we're going to take. 60 seconds on KLKC Parsons. Dirks Kegler knocks down a three-point basket on FortScott's first possession of the third quarter. Here's a leak out. Matthew Boyle with the lay-in. Yes, we are knotted up at 23. FortScott with the three-pointer, and Matthew Boyle just then with the lay-in. 7:15 to go in the third quarter, knotted up at 23.
Yeah, both teams like come out with a lot more intensity already in just the first few seconds of this half.
Here's Goldston, met at the top and a foul. He jumped at the block. He was sandwiched. If that's Xavier, that's 4. Yep, it is.
Yeah, it is. And it looks like Coach Argerbright's making that right because the ref did call it on Trey Vincent, but they put it on Phillips, and then Coach Argerbright walked up to the scores table to correct it.
Goldston makes the first free throw to give FortScott a 1-point lead. His first bucket of the night. Goldston's second. No. Rebound, Griff Eaton. .656, third quarter, 24-23, FortScott. Vincent will drive and kick. Hit high off the hands of Chipman. And it'll stay with Labette County. On the floor for the Grizzlies is the starters, Boyle, Vincent, Eaton, Baker, and Phillips. Inbound goes to Griffin Eaton. Here's Trey Vincent waiting a patient. He'll come to the top of the key and now back up. He'll switch hands right to left, and that's going to be an offensive foul as Kegler took a couple steps back as if he was bumped. Whether he was or not, I don't know, but Trey Vincent smiles as he jogs back.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do in that situation as Kegler guards close as it is, and he's done that most of the night. So that's just something he's going to have to take and run with.
Good ball game from Fort Scott, 6:30 to go in the third. That foul did go on Trey Vincent, his second, or his third. I was trying to refer back to the one where they called Xavier on it. Here's Fort Scott with the ball. Left side, Chipman. Interior they go. Lafredo turns, shoots, and scores. Fort Scott has outscored Labette County by 4 points in the first 2 minutes. They lead by 3.
Yeah, Fort Scott's definitely putting up a good fight here to open up the second half, as Labette County's kind of struggling to get going here.
Phillips, who had a big second quarter, he had 8 in that quarter alone, 10 in the first half. Here's Eaton with the three-pointer for the tie. Off to the right side, rebound Kegler. Quickly the other way comes the small point guard. He'll give it up to Goldston. He'll drive right, nearly slip and travel. Goldston, left wing three. No, big miss. Rebound Baker and a foul on Johnson. Going the other way, or did they call a jump?
Yeah, it looks like,
okay.
Yep, they're going to get the foul on Johnson. So you don't always see those because sometimes they let them play out, but that time Johnson just hooked the inside arm of Baker just a little too much for the ref's liking there.
The first on Johnson. He's been down there body bumping all night with Hudson.
Yeah.
Here comes Trey with the left hand and a push on Fort Scott. Man, they're just, I remember last year this game was kind of officiated like this. It's not bad officiating, it just, officials have their different
styles,
what they let go,
yeah,
what they don't, and these officials just don't let a lot go by them. Here's Baker, high post left side, takes a dribble, spins from left to right, gives it up to Eaton. He'll penetrate just a little bit, go up, undershoot a floater that misses. Rebound Johnson, and Eaton tried to force the jump ball, but now gets back.
Yeah, good effort there by Eaton, just a little, not quite long enough for the ref to blow their whistle.
2 team fouls on each squad. Here's Chipman with the basketball. He'll choose the left side of the floor to go for this set play. Goldston now inside the paint. He'll kick it out. Three-pointer Kegler for his second of the half. Miss. Rebound Baker. As Fort Scott's now the one threatening to go up 6 or 7. Labette County looking for the tie or to get within 1.
Yeah, so Labette County definitely needs to answer Fort Scott here. They cannot let this game get away from them.
Here's Boyle off a give and go. Paint touch, turn. Eaton. Flip to the corner, Vincent tries to get Kegler to bite. Hook pass, Phillips. Now to the corner. Good movement from Labette County, but it's pretty clogged, not much spacing. Backdoor Eaton. Ball's on the deck. Johnson's got it, and he's going to give it to Kegler.
These Labette County fans behind me wanted to travel. They're not going to get it.
Here's a drive from Chipman. An awkward shot that doesn't fall. 3 Grizzlies there to make the rebound, and a foul on Chipman. I thought it was a jump ball, and so did Chipman.
Yeah.
And Coach Kroll. But Labette County fortunate enough to get the foul. Joe Page checks in for Matthew Boyle.
As that'll now be Chipman's third personal foul, so both teams kind of having players dipping into that foul trouble a little bit.
3:50 in the third now. Griffin Eaton slowly approaching the half-court line. Now he crosses it, met by Goldston. Baker there for his screen. Sets it. That can't, how is that an illegal screen?
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that call, but don't think the ref will listen to me.
Either way, that's the second on Hudson. Here comes Fort Scott, up by 3. Labette County just with 2 points in the third quarter. Here's Lafredo. Goldston for 3 in the right corner. Good. Other way, Baker layup. No. Gets his own miss and is fouled and will shoot 2 free throws. As man, Labette County just needs to settle in. They need a shot to fall, but that's not an excuse for your defense. It's been fine, but you knew Goldston was going to hit one if you gave him enough open looks.
Yeah, oh for sure. They just have kind of, I don't know if they've just seemed to pump the brakes a little bit, and it's just kind of been discouraging to watch. Because you know these guys got them in them. We've watched it. But I don't know if it's the atmosphere or what's going on, but they need something to get going for them.
Baker misses the first free throw. He'll get one more, and ref gives him the ball. Second free throw, no good as well. Long rebound to Phillips. Phillips tries to give it to Baker. Ball is on the deck, and a jump ball. It's got to be. It is, and it'll stay with Labette County. Joe Page is signaling to Argerbright what inbounds play he wants, and he gets it. So we'll see if it's a set play for Joe Page, because Page told Argerbright what he wanted just then, and Argerbright agreed. It is a set play. Backside, Phillips to the right wing, 3, no. As Page was open on the left wing as well, it was a set play for either man. Kagan Bates is in the game for Trey Vincent. Here comes Kegler, uncontested layup, or floater rather, misses, gets his own miss, misses again, oh my goodness, rebound Baker, as that ball was in and then out.
Yeah, that would have brought the house down too if Kegler was able to put that away, but Labette County needs a basket.
Here's Eaton, gives it to the freshman. Bates will penetrate, pick up his dribble, find Eaton, top of the key, little bit of drive, left hand layup is good. Griffin Eaton needs to do a little bit more of that. Get to the rim, little fella.
Yeah, they definitely need that aggressive offense that they're used to.
Bates takes the swipe at Goldston, misses. Kegler back to Goldston, three-pointer, back-to-back, miss. Rebound Baker. Chipman flirting with his 5th foul. Here's Page, gives it to the cutting Baker, leans into Johnson, shoots and misses, and then a late whistle. Baker was going to erupt if that foul wasn't called.
Yeah, he was definitely kind of waiting for that because he was met hard by Johnson there at the rim. As that'll now be Johnson's 2nd personal foul as Baker goes to the line to shoot a free throw.
Hudson's been held to just 3 points on the night, misses the first free throw, where he's 0 for his last 3, or pardon me, 0 for his last 4. He's 1 for 4 on the night, 1 for 5. I'll get it right. Phillips and Eaton take a seat. Boyle comes back in, and so does Vinson. Baker, free throw 2 of 2. Missed the first. Misses the second. 4-point lead, it stays for Fort Scott. 29-25. 2:05 to go in the third quarter. Labette's been outscored 9-4 in this quarter. Here's Kegler far side with it in front of a packed-in student section. Kegler goes between the legs, a dump down, nearly intercepted, and a foul on Matthew Boyle. He knew it was coming. He thought he got away with it, but the second the whistle was blown, he just threw his head up like he knew it was coming. That'll be the 4th team foul on Labette County in this half, and the first on Matthew Boyle. Kegler will inbound it under the left side of the rim. Throws it in to Rogers. And now to Brown, who just checked in. A 3-pointer's off the mark, flying in for the board, but losing it out of bounds is Peranto, who's back in the game. The young man, Kanan Brown, a 6'2" freshman for Fort Scott, as Coach Kroll's played a lot of underclassmen tonight.
Yeah, he has. We have definitely seen a lot of faces further down the roster from him here late in the third.
Speaking of underclassmen, Barrett Heston will check in at the next dead ball. Here's Vincent, one-on-one with Kegler. He wins it, plus the foul! Trey Vincent with a big-time take to the rim and finish. And he'll go to the line to try to get Labette within 1.
As that was just a really nice play there for Vincent, just they kind of cleared the lane and let him take his man one-on-one right to the hoop.
Barrett gets Joe Page, and Trey's at the line looking for his 5th point.
As that'll also now be Kegler's 3rd foul, so he's kind of getting close there too.
Trey makes the free throw. I'm sorry.
Nope, you're good. You're good.
I'm sorry. What were you saying about Kegler? It's his 4th, or did you say 3rd?
It's his 3rd, so he's going to have to kind of play a little bit smarter now.
Trey can go at him a couple more times.
Yeah.
3-pointer put up and hit. Rogers nails a big 3. His first of the game.
As in that case, there's not much you could have done there. I mean, Boyle was right there with a hand in his face.
32-28, Fort Scott with 50 seconds to go. Here's Boyle in the corner. Looking inside for Vincent on Kegler. Layup, plus the foul again! Trey Vincent with back-to-back and wins. I think they got Kegler. Or did they get the help side?
I think it's going to be 24.
Okay.
So that'll be Lafredo. but still phenomenal performance there by Vincent, as he is looking really good right now.
32-30 the score. Vincent looking for back-to-back three-point plays. Joe Page checks back in for Kagan Bates. Kegler takes the seat. He's replaced by Kanan Brown. Also on the floor for Fort Scott, Colton Rogers, Spencer Golston, Rocco Lafredo, and Johnson. Vincent converts again.
He is carrying this Grizzly team on his back right now.
A 1-point Fort Scott advantage with 40 seconds to go, and they have the ball. They burned 1:15 off the clock in the second quarter. We'll see if Coach Kroll wants to do it again. Goldston whips it, corner. He gets it back, rotates it, now in the hands of the freshman Brown. Ball stayed beyond the perimeter. Nobody inside the paint. Lafredo. Good spacing from Fort Scott on this possession, as they're definitely holding for one shot. Here comes Goldston. He'll give it up. Rogers, a deep two, no, but a foul well after the shot was put up. I think they got Barrett. Argerbright looks to his coaching staff like, did I see that right? Was that actually a foul?
Looks like it was an arm bar or something body related from the motion she's making, as Argerbright's kind of looking for clarification there.
As he gets an explanation. First free throw, good. Rogers a good shooter. Hasn't shot much tonight, but he has 6 points on 2 field goals. And this free throw. The second. Good as well. 9 seconds for Labette to go the full length of the floor. Down by 4 with 5 seconds left. Trey's not going. He's got 2 seconds. He's got to go. He's going to shoot a deep three and miss, but man, he didn't move. That's interesting. So they only have on the scoreboard 34-31, but I thought, yeah, Labette was within 1. Correct? Trey
yes, and then they just shot the 2 free throws.
I was mistaken. So at the end of 3, Fort Scott 34, Labette 31, a classic finish. Potentially is going to take place here in Fort Scott. We'll be back in 30 seconds on KLKC Parsons.
Day & Zimmerman, one of the largest privately owned companies in the U.S. with operations across the country and internationally. We are comprised of multiple brands that put people to work, protect our freedoms, and improve the world. The Parsons, Kansas location has manufactured munitions for over 50 years for our country's warfighters. Day & Zimmerman has immediate openings for production operators starting at $18.02 an hour on our weekend crew. Work a 12-hour day shift Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and receive 40 hours of pay. We also offer competitive benefits. Apply today.
34-31, an advantage of Fort Scott as 8 minutes is put on the scoreboards. Fourth quarter about to be underway. Possession, Fort Scott. Isabel, you ready for this?
Oh, I'm buckled in and ready to go, because it's going to end up being a close one, I can tell you that much.
Xavier Phillips back in the game with 4 personal fouls. Kegler back in with 3, defended by Vincent, who had 6 straight points there in that third quarter to keep it within 3. Here's a drive from Chipman. Gives it to Kegler. Kegler will settle in, dribble between the legs. Left side, Chipman gives a head fake, throws it away into the hands of Baker. Phillips out and running. He wastes no time. Now he'll retreat. Baker has a swipe. Vincent for the tie in the corner. No. Rebound deep in the hands of Lafredo, and here comes Fort Scott.
Still nice wide open shot though there by Vincent, as there was absolutely nobody in the far right corner.
Here's Goldston. Dribbling with the right, left uncontested, but throws it inside. Vincent with the steal. He'll put it on the floor immediately, almost has it stolen, but walks across half court with nobody on him. Gives it up to Eaton. 2 Grizzlies on the block. They come up to the elbow in unison. Vincent one-on-one with Kegler. Leans into him, shoots and misses. Phillips flies for the board. Leans, shoots, misses. And the rebound is where? In the hands of Vincent. Inside Baker, backing down Johnson. Right hand hook is good. What a possession for Labette County.
And that's exactly what we needed to see there. Just some good effort to get that second chance look, and Baker backing down Johnson to put it away for 2.
1 point game again. 90 seconds into the fourth quarter, 6.5 to go. Here's Goldston. One dribble handoff. Chipman working on Griffin Eaton. Man-to-man defense. Phillips gambles, misses, but gets back in position to defend Goldston.
You can definitely see the fire kind of right now here in the defense as they're quickly moving their feet.
Kegler will give it to Johnson. Both 6'6" guys have played beyond the arc a lot of the offense, and an illegal screen! Argerbright gives a fist pump, as do I. Foul on Fort Scott. Labette County with a chance to take the lead.
As that's exactly what you need right now to build momentum to get it to go your way.
Griff Eaton flips it to his fellow point, Trey Vincent. He's been fabulous. He'll work right side, left open, stutter step drive. Joe Page kick out 3, good!
It's like that spread on the floor was made for him as he sinks it deep out of the right corner, uncontested. Great shot there by Page.
Page does it again, flips it, Labette up 2, a drive, a kick, Chipman with it in the corner, gives a head shake on Eaton, he doesn't bite.
As we're hearing defense chants now rising up out of the Labette County fans.
A 3-pointer open for Chipman, miss, rebound Page in the corner. Big time stop for Labette with 5:15 to go.
As this is the right time to be peaking, as you just want to continue to put the pedal to the metal here.
Argerbright organizing his pawns. Eaton near half court working on Goldston. Signals Page to go underneath. 1-on-1, screens are being set. Page coming to the top of the key. Well defended by Lafredo, it's a busted play. They'll give it back to the point guard and have to come up with something. He'll drive, shoot with the right hand off the glass, no. Baker skies in for the putback, no foul called. Grizzly bench can't believe it. Here comes Goldston, 1-on-1 with the right hand, miss, putback is good.
As now Coach Kroll's going to call a timeout, and Argerbright claps to bring his boys home for a meeting.
Lafredo with the putback to tie it at 36. It'll be Labette County ball after this 30-second break. This is Grizzly basketball on KLKC.
My name is Bria and I'm a pharmacist at Bowen Pharmacy. I'm here today to tell you about one of our patient programs, Meds to Beds. Bowen Pharmacy South is located in the medical office building at Labette Health. Our staff works closely with the doctors, nurses, and social care workers to ensure that your transition out of the hospital is an easier and more convenient experience for you and your loved ones. If you are having inpatient or outpatient surgery, we will get your medications directly from your doctor and deliver them right to your hospital bed. If you are having a baby, we will get your medications or anything else that you may need to get your family home without the hassle of making several stops along the way. Whether you're here for a few hours or a few days.
I kicked the plug in and it unplugged us for a moment. Here's Vincent with it. First possession out of the Coach Kroll timeout. An instant classic in the SEK. An early January affair, feels like late February. Tied at 36, 4:15 to go. Trey Vincent and Griff Eaton just playing catch. It's like a 2-1-2 zone for Fort Scott. Vincent gets behind it and scores! Trey Vincent with 8 points in the second half. He has been awesome.
Yeah, he has definitely put on a performance, and it's been fun to watch him play.
His touch at the rim has greatly improved from last season. Here's Johnson working on Baker. Has to kick it out. Goldston for the lead. Got it.
As Phillips was right there to put a hand in his face, jumped pretty high, but still soared right above him in for 3.
Griffin Eaton throws it high over the head of Lafredo. Page open for 3. Got it! Got it! Joe Page! Big time shot. That is something that is said a lot each game, it seems like, Isabel. We have a timeout, Coach Argerbright. Joe Page gives his team back a 41-39 lead. What a pickup, the transfer from Parsons.
Yeah, he has definitely been a great asset to this team this year, as he is just, anytime we've needed kind of a spark or just kind of a big-time shot, he's been there to hit it for us. And as Coach Argerbright said in the last interview we had, he's just kind of that halftime or second half shooter, and really he can shoot at any point in the game, but he just loves to put a show on in the second half.
Yes, he does. shoots a lot of shots but knows when to make them. But tonight, he has 4 threes, 12 points.
Wow.
And I don't know if he's missed a 3. Maybe he shot 1 or 2 early that I don't remember. But he's got to be 4 for 6 at worst. He hasn't shot 8 or 10.
It's definitely, I was going to say, he's definitely made majority, if not all of the threes he's put up tonight. Or at least it's felt that way.
Yes, certainly. Labette County 41. Labette County 39. Spencer Golston hit a 3-pointer on the right side of the floor, at least in accordance to our position. And then Joe Page answered with 1 on this end. It's a goodie. Labette County fighting to go 4-0 in the league and get Tuesday off and travel to Pittsburgh on Friday.
Yeah, this would definitely build their momentum for Pittsburgh.
Here's Golston, right side of the floor, defended by Eaton, flips it opposite side to Kegler. Has played well with 3 fouls. Here's the screen from Lafredo. Eaton defending Golston tightly. In the corner it goes to Rogers. A screen is set. FortScott really moving the ball well on this possession. The spacing is wide. Only 1 player down low, the other 4 are spread out beyond the arc. Here's Golston left side with the drive and kick. They're trying to get it inside as Lafredo and Johnson are on the blocks, defended by Page and Baker. 2:45 to go. Another long possession from Coach Cole's squad. Ball's on the right side, Rogers. Tiger fans getting restless. A long possession.
Yeah, Labette County's just doing a good job. They're continuing to switch, continuing to communicate.
Kegler in the corner, dumped down Lafredo, and it's blocked. But they're going to say a foul is on Hudson, and so Lafredo's going to shoot 2 free throws.
Yeah, at least the shot didn't go in, or that might have brought the house down. But now Hudson's going to make them earn the points here.
That's 3 on Hudson and 6 on Labette County. First is no good.
Hudson's still a very smart basketball player with fouls, though. So with only 2 minutes and 27 seconds left in the ball game, I think Hudson's going to be all right.
Second free throw, miss. Rebound Baker. That is big time.
Yeah, that's a foul well spent.
Absolutely. Here comes Trey Vincent, crosses half court. He's got Eaton to his opposing side of the floor. And Phillips, Baker, and Page are pasting the baseline underneath the basket. Left, middle, and far right side are Page, Baker, and Phillips. Vincent stalling at half court. Kegler trying to get on him, but is scared as Vincent's gone by him the last 3 times, goes by him again, misses. Rebound Phillips, putback is good! Xavier Phillips Skywalker comes in from the high elbow, snatches and scores. That is a big time shot from Zay. Meanwhile, a foul on Griffin Eaton on the far side as he jumps up and down as if he can't believe the call. And it's going to be 1-1 though. So a little bit of pressure is applied to the free throw shooter, Spencer Goldston, who's 1 for 2 from the line.
I'm not sure I agree with that foul on Easton, but nonetheless, Goldston's at the line.
That's 2 on Griff, 7 as a team. Doesn't really matter at this point. Golston front into the 1-1, miss! Rebound Baker! FortScott has missed their last 3 free throws, and that one was the front end of a big 1-1.
Yeah, that was a big deal because you're not guaranteed that second shot, so now they have to play defense again on a really charged Labette County offense.
This is a tough place to come get a win, let alone with the target on your back. Vincent gets by his man again and kicks it out. Phillips in the corner will settle down and give it to Griff. 4-point Grizzly lead, minute 18 on the clock. Goldston steals it, and then a late whistle, and then a late whistle. Tiger Nation is not going to like it, I can promise you that. As multiple heads and bodies pop up from the seated section across from us, it'll be 1-1 for Griff Eaton at the stripe.
And I am not sure what Goldston said, but the ref was pretty close to calling a technical there as he kind of stared down Goldston and asked, "What did you say?" And Goldston just shook his head. So
I'm not going to say it again.
Yeah, definitely getting tense. But Goldston not wanting to put his team down further anymore.
Eaton, another big 1-1, but for Labette this time, miss, rebound Lafredo. We've still got a ball game.
Labette County clearing the lane pretty easily just to get back and play defense.
Goldston inside Johnson. Here's a head fake and drive. Rogers, a tough shot that misses. That's got to be over the back on Johnson. And it is! And it is! Another little bit of a late whistle, but it was the right call.
Yeah. As that'll now put Baker at, well, that'll put him at a double bonus, so he'll be shooting 2 now. As Coach Argerbright just points to his temples and tells everybody to think smart here.
Yeah. Just finish.
Yeah, just get to the end.
60 seconds. If they don't score again, it doesn't matter what you do on offense.
Yeah.
He preaches defense, and that's what's going to win it for him tonight. Baker's first is good. He's really struggled from the line tonight. Prior to this free throw, he was 1 for 6, and he knocks down the biggest of the night. Baker's second. You betcha. Hudson Baker extends Labette County's lead to 6 with 58 seconds on the clock. Timeout, Coach Argerbright. It's a full, so we'll take half of that. 30 seconds. It's a good one on KLKC.
Everybody is different. Some get injured, while others simply wear down. Whether it's on the court, on the field, or at the gym, Labette Health's orthopedic and sports medicine team has the training and skill to repair, restore, and renew. We share the same goal, and together we'll write your comeback story. For more information about Southeast Kansas' leading orthopedic and sports medicine team, go to labettehealth.com.
A 4-0 start in the SEK for your Labette County Grizzlies is 58.8 ticks away from coming to fruition, but it's going to start on the defensive end.
Yes, it will. It's definitely going to be one of those things where they're going to just, again, Coach Argerbright telling his guys to play smart, play fundamental, no silly fouls, because that's how you bring a team back into the game, is if you get sloppy on defense. And Fort Scott's got plenty of time to get themselves back in this game. So Labette County just has to play smart here.
Last update on the Parsons-Coffeyville game. Parsons leads by 14 at halftime against Coffeyville. But for now, we've got a barn burner. Labette up 6, 50 seconds to go. Here's Goldston with a dribble handoff. A head fake and drive. Fort Scott hesitant to shoot a 3. Goldston pulls up from the free throw line, gets it. Timeout, Coach Kroll. That's exactly what he wanted. He just wanted a basket and wanted to get his boys back to the bench for another meeting. Labette's up 4 with 39.1 on the clock, and it'll be Grizzly basketball after this Coach Kroll timeout. We'll take one last moment and thank Labette Health for making tonight's broadcast possible. Invite you to stay tuned for our Bowen Pharmacy postgame show, where we'll be joined by head coach Bradley Argerbright, and other sponsors include
Labette Community College, Forbes Hoffman Funeral Homes, Clemens Insurance Agency, Labette Health, Woodworth Enterprises, Herman Lumber, Carson Wall Funeral Homes, Commercial Bank, Eye Care Associates of Parsons, Labette Bank, the Bartlett Co-op, Labette Center for Mental Health Services, Community National Bank, Tank Connection, Wood Insurance Center, the Unified School District of USD 506, the Corner Store of Altamont, Day and Zimmerman, and SEK Orthopedic.
In Coach Argerbright's huddle with his squad, there were a couple smiles being exchanged down there, as this team knows they're moments away from a perfect start in the league. Here's a long pass to Vincent. What a pass to Phillips, or from Phillips to Vincent, and they're going to say Vincent's foot was out of bounds, and it'll be going the other way. As Coach Argerbright just sended it completely, as Phillips was out of bounds, obviously throwing it in, and hurled it. One-armed launch, and Vincent caught it about the three-point line, mishandled it, and his foot was out of bounds on the left baseline.
Yeah,
so it just has to be interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't it be?
Here's Kegler, now Lafredo. Labette up 4, 25 seconds. Goldston has to go, three-point step back, miss, rebound Joe Page. He'll find Vincent on the outlet. Long pass up ahead, Baker. Inside on Johnson, layup is good. Labette County leads by 6 with 10 seconds to go. Here comes Kegler, three-pointer, no. Rebound tipped around, Phillips with it, up ahead Page, and the buzzer is gonna sound in FortScott. Labette County goes to 4-0 inside the league. But on this end of the floor, Hudson Baker is slow to get up and walks nonchalantly and unemphatically to the bench to give high fives to FortScott as something's bothering Hudson Baker. I'm not sure what it is, but Argabright was encouraging his big man to smile, and he refused to smile. But I am. Labette County 4-0 inside the league. Win it 47-41. We'll be back in 3 minutes with our Bowen Pharmacy post-game show of Grizzly basketball. They are victorious on KLKC. Welcome in, Grizzly Nation, to our Bowen Pharmacy post-game show of Grizzly basketball, where Labette County split tonight's doubleheader with FortScott. The girls lost and the boys won. Girls go to 2-2 inside the SEK, 3-5 on the season, and Labette County boys go to 4-0 inside the SEK and 5-3 on the young season. Jack Leake with Isabel Redford and Lucas Hayward on the YouTube live stream. Leading scores for you for Labette County, two players had a dozen. Xavier Phillips and Joe Page each had 12. Joe had 4 3-pointers and Xavier had 2. Trey Vincent had 10. Hudson Baker had 9. Struggled early, but still got up there near double figures. Yeah. Played hard at the end and hit 2 big free throws. Griff Eaton had 2 and Matthew Boyle had 2. For the FortScott Tigers, Spencer Goldston had 9. Dirks Kegler had 8. Marquin Johnson had 8, and Rocco Lafredo had 8. Colton Rogers had 7, and Dub Chipman had 1. Box score totals for you. First quarter, Labette County won it 7-6. Second quarter, each team's had 14 points. In the third quarter, it was FortScott 14-10, where they flipped the momentum and really raised some tension here in the cage. Fourth quarter, Labette County got them, locked it down defensively, and put up 16 points, holding FortScott 2-7. That was a big-time finish. Isabel, walk me through what you saw from your perspective.
Oh, it was definitely fun. I mean, at times I thought, oh, man, are they going to kind of backslide a little bit on just kind of what they've been doing so well with and pushing forward in. But, you know, what really impressed me is they kind of overcame that. They hit a little slump, and then they got over it. And then they really just continued to give FortScott all they could handle, and they ended up with the win. So I was really excited with what I saw tonight, and I'm really excited to see them go play Pittsburgh this next Friday.
Absolutely, as we are joined, he's making his way over here, still giving shouts to his fans, Coach Bradley Argebright, head coach of your Grizzlies, who are victorious 47-41. Coach, that's a big-time win. 47-41, the final score, outscored FortScott 16-7 in quarter number 4. Historically, Coach, this is a hard place to come win a game.
Yeah.
And it was finished tonight by Labette County.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get over that fourth. You know, these guys like to make me wait till the fourth. But you know what we do is we talked about finishing, not turning the ball over in the fourth quarter, and then we were going to have stops. And, man, our defense was suffocating at times. I know they had a minute possession there. With 3 minutes left, they came out and they took a minute for possession. So
yeah.
Hats off to the defense. That means that we were where we needed to be in passing lanes. Didn't feel like they could get a shot, stuff like that. But really proud of this group. They, that game, this is a great win at a place that's really hard to play for us for some reason.
As you really couldn't be in a better position. You get Tuesday off, and then you go to Pittsburgh. Not sure how their result was tonight, but I know that in the league they were undefeated until tonight. Maybe they won, maybe they lost, but regardless, Coach, like you just said, been a tough place for us to come win tonight. No controversial call was needed. Talk about what went through your team in the fourth quarter to hold them to 7 points in the final stand. You've been preaching defense, and that happened.
Yeah, you know, we just really buckled down, and we got stops when we needed them, but it was just the intensity. You know, we cranked it up another notch. In fact, they had 14 in the third, so to hold them to half that after that, just the defensive intensity. We talked about facing adversity tonight. That was one of the main things we talked about coming out of the starting gates. And we handled that really well. And, you know, in our league, it's never an easy night. I mean, at home it feels, I guess, a little more friendly, but, you know, on the road, you gotta. I thought we could have, you know, they really were all over Hudson. And man, he battled, and, you know, you're just not going to get stuff like that on the road. It is what it is. You have to fight through it and handle it. So I'm just proud of the adversity we handled, and the defense in that fourth quarter. You talked about it. It was just stifling. So that's what changed everything, and that led us to points. You know, we found great shots in the fourth quarter again. So we just got to put it all together. I think we're close. I would say we played, you know, a good game, but we can still play better.
Sure, and you talked about, I read the Parsons Sun, and you've even mentioned it live here with us, 40, holding teams to 40. Yeah. That's kind of it. Yeah. And they score 41, and you win by 6. I mean, that's about cash money. I know you want to score a little bit more, but you get it done. You get it done.
Yeah, the main thing was going 4-9 in our league tonight. That's really all we've been talking about since the game got over Tuesday. Now all we're going to talk about is going 5-0 in the league.
That's right.
I keep telling them we put ourselves in this great opportunity, and just don't let it slip. Don't let the opportunity slip, because, you know, we haven't ever been in this since I've been here. It's not easy to win games in our league. It's not easy to be undefeated right now.
Yeah.
And so just, you know the opportunity, and I know our guys are extremely excited to strap it up next Friday.
Yeah.
As coach, there were 10 points scored by your squad in the third quarter. 6 of them came from Trey Vincent, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh,
2 big and ones. And then in the fourth quarter, I'll let you talk on both these situations. Scored 16 points, that was huge, and 12 of them came from Joe Page and Hudson Baker.
Yeah. You know, Trey in that third quarter, I told our guys, I pulled him out with about 4 minutes and really got after him, because I didn't think his defense was where it needed to be, and I know the kind of player he can be. And he didn't pout. He didn't say he said. He really didn't say anything. He sat down, and then I put him back in, and to watch the when he goes with the ball, gosh dang, he's good.
Yes, he is.
He's fun to watch, especially he finds teammates. But to watch him finish tonight was what was really fun to watch. He's been around that rim a lot this year, but hasn't gotten those and ones. But tonight he really finished around the rim and then made the free throws right after it. So, and one of those, they hit a big three, and he comes down and hits a big and one. So, to that fourth quarter, he was starting to call for some ISOs, and that means I know he's feeling it. That I don't get that from Trey all the time. So, just really proud of him, and a senior that's been through the battle and knows what it's about. But Hudson, I talked about him. He had to really work for those tonight. The last two was probably easy for him on that transition, but other than that, they just really did a good job. They had two big kids that were 6'6", so it's good to see what they had, and it's only going to help him down the road. So I'm glad he didn't get frustrated. He stayed with it, and he hit his free throws down there at the stretch. I know he missed 5 in a row, but he hit 2 when we really needed him to, when it was about 45-41. So great shots there, and then Joe Page just shooting that thing.
Oh man, yeah.
He's doing it, but what we're doing a really good job of getting that help to suck in or whatever it may be, and his hands are ready and he's ready to shoot. It doesn't take long, but God, I don't know if he missed one tonight or not. I can't remember. He might have missed one.
That's what I was saying.
But he hit a nice one here, he hit a nice one in the corner, and just big momentum shots for us. Just really proud of those guys, and Joe has been a great addition to this team, and he's a good teammate. So I can't say enough good things about what we have going on right now.
Oh man, absolutely. There's no tempers flare. I've never seen an argument take place on the floor. Grizzly Nation is pleased with where your squad's at, Coach, and you're obviously a big reason to thank for that. But nobody for Fort Scott scored in double figures.
That's awesome.
Talk about coming in and what did you see?
For having 2 6'6" kids, they really went to work in that second quarter. I thought they hit some big tough shots, and gosh, they're so long. They were on the backside of the rebound, so we really had to, Matthew and Joe really had to box out. Huddy had to box out, and so that played some difference into that. But to hold number 11 under 10 as well, he's a great shooter. He hit one there late. Just a testament to the defense. That means everyone's locked in. It's not no one's having a lapse. And I played Bear and Kagan again tonight, and it just doesn't matter who comes in. They're going to give me effort, and they're going to give me all they have.
And Coach, I asked Coach Vollmer this: do you prefer having Tuesday off? Does it matter to you? Coach Vollmer preferred to probably play on Tuesday because it was just after Christmas break.
Yeah.
But just what are I know you're just focused on Pittsburgh.
With our schedule of a break, I told you I didn't really like it, so I'm going to use this time as practice time.
Sure.
And I can't wait. I can't wait to get in the gym on Monday. And I told the guys that they better be ready to go on Monday, because I don't care if we won, that's great, but we've got to go get better, because we've got a league title type game on Friday.
Absolutely.
It's plain and simple. They're going to be undefeated. I don't know if they won tonight. I'm going to guess they won. And we're going to have to be ready to go. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and it's going to be a live atmosphere. And it's a Friday night in the SCK, and we're going on the road. So, we're just excited for the opportunity, and I know these guys are going to give everything they have on Friday night. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for some more practice time and kind of do what we tried to press tonight, and it didn't go how I wanted. So, those are little things that we got to work on that are going to make us better and just help us progress.
As Coach, you go to 5-3 on the season, 4-0 inside the SEK. Couldn't be in a better position in terms of fighting for that league title. Go get it, Coach. Go get them on Friday, and have a good week of practice.
Thanks. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Go Grizzlies.
Thank you, Coach. That's head coach Bradley Argabright of the victorious Labette County Grizzlies, undefeated in SEK play. This has been the Bowen Pharmacy post-game show of Grizzly basketball. Isabel, any final thoughts?
No, it was a fun night of basketball, and thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate your support, and tune in next Friday as we take on the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons.
For Isabel Redford and Lucas Hayward, my name is Jack Leake, and we thank you again for tuning in to tonight's broadcast of Grizzly basketball. We'll talk to you next Friday night around 5:45 for our pregame show. Girls contest tips at 6 at Pittsburgh as your Grizzlies take on the Purple Dragons. We'll talk to you next week here on KLKC, and as always, God bless.